Okay, are we live? Looks like we're live. Okay. All right. Hello guys. Sorry, I'm streaming from a software called OBS. Everything I'm doing right now is a little new to me. I also have. Let me turn my phone on silent here, so I don't get bombarded with messages. Okay. Turn that on silent. I'd like to welcome everybody to my second live stream here at the conference room at Toasted and Jam Community Workspace. What's up, Lee? Angela Medina, how are you? Hope everybody can hear me well. I am using a microphone here. My friend let me borrow. I mean, he might as well let me keep it. I mean, I've had it for like over a year, I think. Anyways, I really appreciate it. Bubbles and Biscuits Pasta. Wow, I'm so happy that we actually have a dog grooming, YouTube channel joining us, because it's gonna be really good, with more feedback and people asking questions. The Q&A is where all that magic happens. So I'm really happy I'm not sitting here talking to myself. Suji Han, what's up? It's Susie, but in Korean it says Suji, but it's Susie. Awesome. Patty's here, our favorite groomer. Lee says, "Yep, loud and clear." Awesome. Speaking of loud and clear, I was on a date. That's not a date. She made it very clear we're not on a date. But she was like, "Do you have an inside voice?" I was like, "This is my inside voice." Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. I really didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. I just gotta be honest. I've been scrambling. I walked my dogs. I stopped by and got them some dog food, Stella and Chewy's. And speaking of Stella and Chewy's, I looked at the packaging again, and it says Stella and Chewy's, only the good stuff, and that's the promise that they make. Our brand is our promise that we're making to our clients, to the potential buyer. This is our promise. Only the good stuff, in the case of Stella and Chewy's. Now, your brand, what creates a good brand is your ability to deliver on that promise, right? So their promise is they're only going to use the good stuff, quality freeze-dried food. Now, if it ever came out in the news that a dog got sick because they they cut corners and they didn't really use the quality process and the quality ingredients that they promised, now their brand will suffer if that happened. It's because they're consistently delivering on their promise, and they always have good, my dogs never get sick, they never have runny stool, they always have nice solid good stool, they seem very healthy. Even my older dog Angel, she wasn't able to walk, she was limping because her joints were hurting, and I didn't know any of this. I was using Purina Smart Blend, and I thought I was giving her good food, but obviously it was causing inflammation in her joints. As now that I'm using Stella and Chewy's, I mean, even on the walk tonight, my mom was like, "Is she ever gonna die?" So my mom was walking Angel with me. She came on the walk with me, and she was like, Angel's like 14 years old. She's like, "Is she ever gonna die?" And I was like, "Look at her. She looks like she's 4 years old again. She's happy. She's walking." And I told her, it's just like people. It's because I give her regular exercise, I give her good water, filtered water, and I'm giving her the best food I possibly can. That's within my budget. Just like people, good food, good water, good exercise, and she's healthy. So, anyways, I guess a good place to start is by talking about what is a brand. Crystal, what's up, Crystal LaCroix? Kyle Martin, time is reversed, I guess. LOL. It's 8:42 here. Oh wow. Okay, nice. Cause Kyle, I saw on Instagram you said you might have to catch the replay. I was like, oh man, But anyways, Kyle is here. Tara, what's up, Tara? So, how many of us actually know what a brand is? So right now, let me see if I can lower this webcam here. I'm wearing a Coca-Cola t-shirt. I did this purposely. Let me zoom out here. There we go. I did this purposely because I thought it was really fitting for the topic of brand, because Coca-Cola is probably one of the biggest brands out there, right? And Coca-Cola, what is their promise? What do you see? I mean, what do you feel when you see this logo, Coca-Cola? Because for me, when I was drinking soda, I mean, occasionally I still drink soda here and there, but when I drink soda, I prefer Coca-Cola. And the thing is, if you gave me Pepsi, I could tell the difference. And I'm sure Pepsi drinkers, people who are loyal to the Pepsi brand, and Pepsi drinkers, they could probably tell you the same thing. When they taste it, it's like, oh yeah, that's Coca-Cola. I don't like that, you know? But what causes people who like Coca-Cola, especially here in the South, in the South here in Georgia, Coca-Cola feels like home. It feels comforting. That's the feeling that I get. Comfort, home, refreshing, delicious, right? There's a Coca-Cola, World of Coca-Cola Center in Atlanta. It's like a museum for Coca-Cola. And when you go there, they have a film and it just shows you people, you know, smiling, laughing, enjoy, right? Isn't that another one of their advertising slogans? Enjoy Coca-Cola. It says enjoy in this type of font. So even the font, everything, even the way the shirt looks, it looks a little worn. You know, it's like they've been around for a while. It's the original, you know? It's unique. It tastes, there's even the story behind the brand, how it's the original recipe is in some lockbox and, you know, nobody has access to it. You know, it's like there's a story behind it. So that's the thing. They make a promise that it's gonna be delicious, refreshing, and it's gonna taste the same every time, and you're gonna enjoy it. That's their promise. Their ability now to deliver on that promise is what builds that brand loyalty. I hope that makes sense with Coca-Cola. Let's see. Kyle Martin, I see heartburn. Nice. But yeah, that's the thing. People who don't really like Coca-Cola, it doesn't really, you know, do that same thing for them, you know? But that's okay, because Coca-Cola, they're not trying to be all things for all people. They're not saying, oh, you like Pepsi? Well, then we'll go ahead and make another bottle that kind of tastes like Pepsi, you know? And that way we can get the Pepsi drinkers on board as well. They don't do that. They're like, if you like Pepsi and that's what you like, then that's okay too. But if you like Coca-Cola, you know, if you're on board with us, you know, if you believe in our product, then, you know, this is for you. And that's what a good brand does. Apple, for example, right? Apple. How come people aren't so, you know, passionate about HP or Dell? You know, you never see anybody walking around with a Dell laptop, you know, like kind of proud. You know, Simon Sinek even says, when he was at the airport one time, he saw this kid with the laptop open and it had the Apple on it, you know, and they made eye contact and he was like, "What's up?" You know, you're like, you know, because you feel like a part of a tribe. You're like, another Apple user, you know, like, because what does Apple do? Apple, the reason why Apple is a really strong brand is because Simon Sinek has a whole talk around this called "Start with Why." I mentioned this in the other video as live stream as well, but I think this is worth mentioning because we're talking about brands. Tara says, "I'm a Pepsian." Sorry, my wife is too. I'm going through a divorce right now, but she doesn't like Coca-Cola. She likes Pepsi, you know, and I like Coca-Cola. That should have been a sign right there. I should have been like, I don't think we're gonna work out. I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. Okay. Before I start to say things that are ignorant, let me go ahead and draw the. So Simon Sinek's talk. This is what he does. He has what's called the golden circle. So the golden circle is how people think and how businesses market, right? So I'll use a different color here. So in the center, so this circle represents how people behave, our purchasing behavior. What inspires us to buy a certain brand over another, right? And it's really hard to get people to change their behavior, especially purchasing, buying behaviors, right? So this is why Apple is so successful. Apple, they know why they're in business and they make it very clear. So in the middle of the circle is why. The next circle is how. And the outside circle is what. And he's saying, most businesses, most of us know what we do. Some of us know how we do it, what we do. We groom dogs. Some of us know how we do it, And that's your proprietary process. That's your distinguishing factor. That's what differentiates your business from the next business, is how you do it. Some people have that down. Like I have a 4-step process. I used to call it the Terrific Way, the Pampered process when I was managing Pampered Paws. I gave it a name and I had a process. Some people actually do write down a process, like step by step. When dog comes in, we have a check-in area. We assess the skin and coat. We ask about the dog. We ask about the grooming routine, their regular grooming routine. There's grooming habits, right? How often does the dog usually get groomed? What are your grooming habits at home? How does your dog react to this or that? And they have that process. And then the next step is, we check your dog in, you fill out the paperwork, and your dog goes through our process, and then we give you a call when they're finished. They have it all written down and very clear. Very few though, not a lot of grooming shops actually do that. A lot of grooming shops is just, oh, thanks, I'll call you when they're ready. That's the majority of the grooming shops out there. So every grooming shop knows what we do. We groom dogs. Simple enough, right? Some grooming shops know how they do it, what their process is, what their unique process is. Now, very few grooming shops know why they're in business or actually have given it much thought. Because if you ask a lot of shop owners, grooming shop owners, why are you in business? Why does your shop exist? Why did you open your shop? I mean, most of them will probably say, because I need to make money, But that's the result. Simon Sinek is saying making money is a result. It's not why you're in business. I mean, why you're in business is what you believe, why your business exists, why you cared enough to go through the trouble to open up a shop, to open up a business and provide this service. What made you care enough to do this? That is your why. Very few people know what it is, and almost nobody starts with why in their advertising and their marketing. Here's how most people advertise. And he used the example of Dell versus Apple, right? Or most computer companies, HP, Dell, So here's what most computers says: we have excellent computers, easy to use, user friendly, state of the art. They're super fast, and they're competitively priced. Would you like to buy one? All right. Let me keep shopping around. Let me sort by price, right? Because if that's really all it is, let me buy the one that has the best deal, right? Apple flips it around. Apple starts with why. They say, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. We believe in pushing the envelope. We believe in creating something that's meaningful and unique. And this is how we do it. We make computers that are state-of-the-art, easy to use, user-friendly, and we just happen to make good computers, excellent computers. Would you like to buy one? It's completely different. Now you know why their business exists. It inspires you. Everything we do shows that we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in doing something new and different, in thinking creatively. We believe in supporting the artist. We just happen to make great computers, and that's how we do it. And now, creative people, artists, we're proud to display the Apple logo. We're proud to be a part of that club, that tribe, right? Because it says something about who we are. By wearing this t-shirt, you know something about me. I'm probably from the South. I enjoy Coca-Cola, and the thing is, Coca-Cola, the way they even advertise, they attach themselves to theme parks, haunted houses, things that excite people. Things that excite people, bring people a thrill, enjoyment. That's what they're about. That's what Coca-Cola stands for, right? And they make it clear. These days, everyone kind of loses their way. Apple, same thing. That's they used to advertise like this. We knew why they existed. We knew why Steve Jobs was so passionate about what he does, doing things differently, looking at things differently, and then how he does it. He does it by making great computers, and that's what they do. They make great computers and technology. iPods, iPhones, things like that. So because Apple starts with why, instead of starting with what. So he's saying almost everybody, the way they market their business, they tell you what we do. We groom dogs. How we have we groom dogs. We have our groomers have had combined a 40 years experience. We're the best groomers in the area. We've won best of Gwinnett. Gwinnett County is where we live, whatever. We've won these awards in the newspaper, in the community. We have groomers that have won competitions. We're the best. Our groomers have so much experience. It's like, okay, yeah, or they'll say, come to our shop. We specialize in scissor cuts. We do excellent haircuts, perfection. Your Bijans and your Poodles, they will look perfect, with hand scissoring skills. We offer these, skilled groomers that have all this experience. They tell you what they do. Never really touch on why that's important to them or why they're really in business. So that's why you get people who are shop hoppers. They go from one shop to another. I think that it would be much better because, for example, June the groomer, myself. It's for me. I made it very clear in my book, even my philosophy, the videos that I shoot, everything shows that I care about the dogs. All my life, dogs have been there for me, even when I felt so alone, so scared, and so just sad. They've always been there for me. They've helped me feel accepted and understood and loved. And I've always felt a deep connection with dogs, and I care about them so much. Every time I look at a dog, I feel this sense of joy inside. And for me, it's my greatest honor, my greatest privilege to be the one that gets to groom them and help them feel better, help them feel comfortable in their own skin. And that's why I do what I do. And people who want that, and people who believe what I believe and feel the same way about dogs, now it's not just about hiring somebody to come and wash and give their dog a haircut. It's not that at all. And here's the thing, for me, instead of trying to get more customers for my business, I work with few clients because I can only groom 1 or 2 dogs a day. Would you like to be that one? Because I can't groom all the dogs. I can't even groom a lot of dogs. I groom 1 or 2 dogs a day, and I do my very best. Would you like to be that one? And that's all. That's my marketing. That's my pitch. That's my shtick. And because of that, my clients, it inspires them to want to get to know me better. And the thing is, I gotta be honest. When I'm at my client's house and their friends come by, their friends come in, they watch me work, and they're like, "Oh my God, he looked like the dog." Of course me, but he looks like he's enjoying it so much. And I'll be like, I am enjoying it, But they're like, I met the dog. It's like, yeah, I know, but that's the thing. And then my clients, you could see in their eyes the pride that they feel when they have to tell their friends, "Oh, sorry, he's not taking new clients. He's not able to take any more new clients." And it's like they say it like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but really you could tell they feel like, I'm an insider. I'm in this club, and not everybody can get in. And so it makes my clients feel special, right? Let's see here. Kyle Martin, you might want to flip your camera. Oh, well, everything is backwards. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to flip it. Oh no, see this. Let me see here. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, I don't know how to flip the camera. I'm sorry. Video. It's currently okay. Yeah, you know what, Kyle? You've inspired me. I will tinker with this after this live stream and really try to figure out why everything is backwards and try to see if I can figure out how to flip it. I'm sorry about that though. Yeah, I can't. I don't know exactly how to do that. CJ, what's up, CJ Johnson? Patty, our favorite groomer, says, "Can you write backwards? LOL." You know what? Maybe I can. Let me try to do that. Let me try to write backwards. So it'd be Y Oh shoot. Oh no, I brought a towel just for that. So it'd be YHW, and then it would be WOH, and then T A. You're talking to a dyslexic trying to write backwards. There we go. Oh, look at that. That worked. Look at that. Okay, so let me zoom in on my face here. Oh shoot, sorry about that. Look at that. Okay, so why, how, what? Oh wow, I wrote backwards. But that's the golden circle. And it's in that speech, the starting this next speech, start with why. He makes an important note. It's important to note that Dr. Martin Luther King, they didn't have internet, they didn't have social media. He had no way to really get the word out there that he was making this big speech. But somehow there was thousands of people there to hear his I Have a Dream speech. How did that happen? Why did that happen? It's because people who believed what Martin Luther King believed, they shared the message for him. And word of mouth, from one small tribe to another, people who believed in what Martin Luther King believed, they showed up. They made the effort to be there, to support his cause. And it's important to note he gave the I Have a Dream speech, not the I Have a Plan speech. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do is simply a reflection of what you believe. And why you do what you do inspires people to take action, and they get behind your brand or your cause or your business, and that's what gets people to Harley Davidson. How come we don't see people with Yamaha or Kawasaki tattoos? How come there's plenty of people who ride motorcycles that don't ride Harley Davidsons? But how come we never see somebody walking around with a Suzuki tattoo or Yamaha right on their arm, Yamaha? I mean, you might find one. I'm not saying there's not anyone out there, but people who ride Harley Davidsons, I mean, they have the leather jacket. They usually have the facial hair sometimes, not all the time, but they have this certain look. They have this lifestyle. They got tattoos. That's Harley Davidson. Why? Because Harley Davidson is more than just a motorcycle making brand. Harley Davidson represents a lifestyle. They say people like us live like this. It's about freedom. It's about ruggedness. That lifestyle. And so that's why but people who don't believe what Harley Davidson is about, you won't see them with Harley Davidson tattoos or even riding the bike. And that's okay. Harley Davidson is not trying to sell their bikes to everyone. They're just making it very clear what they believe and why they're in business. And making motorcycles just happens to be the way that they show what they believe. We believe in freedom. We believe in the open road. We believe in, in not following the rules, making your own rules, right? And we just happen to make motorcycles so you can do so. Would you like to buy one? And the people who buy into that, who believe what Harley Davidson is about, not only do they buy the motorcycle, they get the tattoo, But with Yamaha and Suzuki and Kawasaki, it's like, yeah, they make fast motorcycles, I get, but you don't really know exactly, what is Yamaha really about, or Suzuki, And that's why we don't see people wearing leather jacket. Well, I mean, maybe. I think I saw one person that has Suzuki brand on them. But, you don't, Harley Davidson has a certain look, it has a certain feel about it, right? And that's why Harley Davidson is such a strong brand, because they're so clear on who they are. And the people who connect with that, they support Harley Davidson wholeheartedly, right? Kyle Martin. Okay, got it. Patty says, it's his Morse code writing. LOL. Grooming secrets. Nice. What is our favorite? It's EXATTY. So what does that say? Let me write that down backwards so I know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's YITCAXE. Yitcax. Mid cats. No. Exactly. Exactly. EXACTYL. Exactly. Exactly. LOL. Okay, I got it. Lee says word of mouth is the best advertising. Exactly. But what causes people to spread the word? What causes that word of mouth advertising? Someone has to feel like you did something that was remarkable, that was different, like Seth Godin says. So when I show up, right, my promise is that I care a lot about your dog, and I take my time, and I honor this process, this 4-step process. And when your dog is finished, not only are they going to look good, but they're going to feel good, and they're going to be comfortable. That's my brand promise, right? That's my brand. Now, my ability to deliver on that promise is what makes my clients tell their friends about it. You got to try this guy. So I remember one client of mine, the very first visit, I went, and I on the phone I told them, because they had a cockapoo. No, yeah, a cockapoo. It's a cocker spaniel poodle mix, right? And I don't do their dog anymore because they told me that things are going on in their personal life, and circumstances have changed, and so I'm kind of out of their budget, but it's okay. The thing is, when I was grooming their dog on a regular basis, the very first time I went, I let them know it could possibly take me a good 7-8 hours, because I was telling them just to get to your dog combed out and dematted, it might take me 2-3 hours. Because even my regular clients, who I go every month or two, even though I'm on a regular schedule with them, and I am going clearing out and combing them out thoroughly, they get tangled up, and it takes about a good hour, sometimes an hour and a half, depending on the dog and depending on how long we go in between grooms. So I tell them, even my regular clients take about an hour and a half. I've never seen your dog before, your dog's not used to me, so it could take about 2-3 hours for me to get them completely combed out. Then the bath takes about another hour, to wash and dry. Then the haircut takes about 45 minutes, but because, again, it's the first time I'm grooming him, and your dog doesn't really know me, I might have to take my time and give him a couple breaks, so it could take an hour or more for the haircut. So the very first visit, I told him it could take 7-8 hours, but your dog is not going to be stressed, and whenever he does show signs of getting too stressed, I'm going to give him a break. And so that's why it could take all day. And they said, that's great. They were like, we were looking for a groomer like you, right? So that's the thing. I wasn't trying to sell them on my service and convince them to use me. I was giving them every reason why not to use me. I was like, this is what's going to happen. It could take all day long, and I charge this much. And, I'm probably not the right groomer for you. And they're saying, no, that's what we want. You're so different. We've been looking for someone that would take their time and, do this and take care of the skin rather than just, shave them. And they were looking for someone like me. So I went, and the husband was kind of, hovering. And then he even needed to take a shower. And it was the most awkward thing. There was a glass shower in the restroom, huge restroom, bathroom, huge bathroom. I mean, probably bigger than the room I'm in now, this big conference room. And in the corner, there's a shower that's made of glass doors, right? So you can see right into the shower. He was like, do you mind if I take a shower here? I was like, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I promise I won't stare. I won't look, And he was like, yeah, I'm okay with it. So he takes a shower while I'm grooming his dog. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, I guess. It's like, that just happened, right? And so he's done with the shower. He dries up and everything. And still, he's, coming back and forth, checking on us. And then when I was finally done, and their dog had a nice fluffy haircut, very nicely, like a teddy bear around and everything. And he felt great. He was happy. He was comfortable. I let the dog down, like, go show off, buddy. Go show him how great you look. It took about a good 7-8 hours for the whole thing, right? And so I'm cleaning up, I'm getting my stuff together, and I walk out of the bathroom, and he comes up to me. He's like, are you kidding me? And immediately I felt like attacked almost. I felt kind of defensive. I was like, oh no, we're in trouble, And so I immediately I started to I started to like stammer and stutter. I was like, I was like, I told your wife. I was like, before I even came, I told your wife exactly what was gonna happen. That it could take this long. I was like, I just did what I did exactly what I said I was gonna do. And he was like, no. He was like, what do you? And I was like, I'm sorry if you didn't. And he was like, he was like, don't apologize. He was like, this is amazing. He was like, are you kidding me? I can't even believe that somebody would spend that kind of time and that effort. He was like, I saw you sweating. He was like, I just can't believe it. He was like, this is amazing. And I was like, but I told you I would do that. I was like, I just did what I said I was gonna do. And he was like, yeah, but nobody does that. He was like, everybody has their shtick. He was like, yeah, I know you said you were gonna do that, but he was like, everybody has their shtick. He was like, I just thought it was just a gimmick. I thought that was your marketing thing. And I was like, well, I mean, it is my marketing thing, but I was like, I have to do what I said I was gonna do, right? And he was just like amazed. He was floored, and I was like, wait a minute. And I even told him, I was like, are you telling me that all I have to do to stand out and be incredible and amazing in your eyes, all I have to do is just tell you what I'm gonna do, and just do exactly what I said I would do. That's all I have to do, and I'm incredible. He was like, pretty much, yeah. He was like, isn't that sad? He even told me like, isn't that sad that that's what marketing has become? Like we say we advertise and we say all this nice stuff to get someone's business, but then when it comes to deliver on our promise, we fall short. And that's why it's so difficult to build that brand loyalty, to build that strong, loyal client base, the ones who will tell their friends, take them by the hand, and literally bring them to you. Because we market ourselves, we promise a certain thing, but then a lot of times, what the actual customer experience, they don't feel like the promise was actually kept, right? Kalmar, exactly. Kalmar, treat the dog as your own. Exactly. You want to treat the dog as if they're your own. And if that's the promise you make, that's the promise you have to keep when your client comes and uses your service. You know what? A good thing to talk about real quick. What is the difference between a client and a customer, right? Because I think we get that confused. And I think that once that becomes the definition of what a client is and what a customer is, once we're clear on that, I think we can market more effectively. Because we have to decide, do we want customers or do we want clients? Neither one is right or wrong. You just have to decide for yourself. Because a customer is interchangeable. A customer is someone who shops at a grocery store, and Publix does a good job of I don't know where you guys live, but here in Georgia we have a couple of grocery stores, big ones that compete. So there's Kroger, there's Publix, what else? But Kroger and Publix are the two main ones that With Kroger's like discounts. You get points. Every dollar you spend, you get a point. You get 100 points. You get 10 cents off their gas because Kroger has gas stations as well now. So Kroger seems like the bargain shop, the bargain grocery store, where you go for discounts to get bargains. Publix, they have great deals as well, but they market themselves. If you listen to the advertisements on the radios and stuff, and they're your neighborhood store. They're involved in the community. They want to help the world. They want to help the environment and things like that. They're green, And so, but for me personally, I'm a customer. I will go to Publix if it's convenient and on my way to a client's house, and I'll go to Kroger and when I'm home because it's right next to my house and I get fuel points. But I don't really have a strong preference. And if I go out of state, I don't really care which grocery store I go to, really. That might be a bad example, but customers buy products. Customer buys, things. Amazon. I'm a customer. I'm a customer of Amazon. You don't see, with like an Amazon tattoo or anything. But okay, but I could even look it up. No, I won't look it up. So the thing is, clients are, Clients usually are service based. Service providers usually have clients. Lawyers have clients. CPAs, public accountants, CPAs have clients because they're seeing those same people regularly. And who else? But just because you're a service provider doesn't mean that you have clients. Just like my cell phone, I'm a customer of Sprint. If I don't feel any loyalty or anything. Like, Sprint, they provide my cell phone service, but still, I'm a customer of theirs. I'm not a client. A client is protected under like a lawyer. A lawyer, it protects their client. And they represent their client. There's like a feeling of trust and safety. Doctors are a little different. Doctors have patients, right? But a psychiatrist, a therapist, they have clients. They're actually helping, and it's individualized. Okay, that's the thing. Customers can buy a product that anyone else can buy as well. A client is someone who is receiving individualized service. So even though you're a plumber, you don't have clients usually. Plumbers usually don't have clients, they have customers. Because one broken toilet is usually kind of the same as another broken toilet. It's not individualized for that family's needs. But clients, people who serve clients, the service is individualized and unique for that person. Like a lawyer, like a divorce attorney, personal injury attorney. It's geared and individualized for that specific case, for that person. They represent that person. That person is protected under their service. It's expertise, it's specialized knowledge, expertise in a certain area. They provide a service to clients, right? Customers are more interchangeable. So that's why like I started with in the beginning, I can only groom 1 or 2 dogs a day. My service is so individualized and so like catered. It's made uniquely for the dog that I'm grooming. When I go and groom one dog, it's not the same. I use the same process, I use the same steps, but the way I do it and the way I interact is different with each dog because each dog is unique and different. They all have their own personalities. So because my service is so individualized, I can only do 1 or 2 a day. And that's why my clients feel so special and they feel loyal because they know that I can only groom 1 or 2 a day and I have a full client list and they happen to be one of those 1 or 2 dogs that gets groomed by me a day, and their friends, when they call me or they contact me and I let them know I'm really sorry, I don't have room on my schedule to take on a new client. That again makes my client who referred them, who told them about me, it makes them feel even more special. It's like because my service is so individualized and unique to them, so they are my client. And so you have to decide for yourself, do you want clients where the service is unique, individualized, specialized, and you have them coming regularly, so you don't always have to go and look for new people to serve. You just continue to do your best and serve the clients you already have to the best of your ability. Let's see, Carl Martin. A client is someone you have built a relationship with. A customer is just money in your pocket. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Kyle. I really like that. So, how do you want to run your business? Do you want your business to, because a lot of shops that I worked at, I got the feeling like they didn't really care. They said they care about your pets, and they say, your pets come first, or we care so much about your pets. But then the way the business model is structured, and the way the dogs leave the shop even sometimes, it's like you failed to deliver on that promise. And so now your brand image, it almost hurts your brand more than helps. Unless that's your brand, unless the promise is we do fast and cheap grooms. Nobody is gonna groom your dog faster or cheaper than us. then that's great. And you're going to attract a lot of those customers, because that's a lot of people may be looking for that. But what I did instead was I said, I'm not looking for lots of customers. I'm not looking for a lot of people to groom their dogs for. I'm looking for people who really care about the well-being of their pet, how their pet is treated during the groom, their comfort level all throughout the process, and the quality of the groom, how their dog looks and feels, not just the day they pick up, but for weeks after that. Hopefully until it's time to get them groomed again. I want that groom to last. And that's my promise. And so every time I deliver on that promise, and it takes time and effort to do that, then it causes them to come back. So if somebody tries your service once, that's, there's nothing too impressive about that. Everybody can, get someone to try them once. But to get them to come back and try it again, and now you have repeat business, and they want to just keep coming back, and they don't want to go anywhere else anymore. They found their spot, they found their groomer that they trust, and it's just so remarkable to them that they want to tell their friends and family. Now you have that client for life, as long as you continue to deliver on your promise, right? And you make your promise clear. So a brand is your personality, really, your business personality. The way Seth Godin would describe it is like, how do people feel when they think about you? Okay, so when I first sat down with my mentor, who he was the head of marketing and vice president of marketing for Procter & Gamble, Rubbermaid Newell. First thing he had me do was write 10 words that describe me, 10 words that how I would describe myself, 10 adjectives, right? And so I wrote a bunch of stuff, passionate, caring, like quality, all this stuff, right? And then we narrowed it down to just 3. And what we came up with was friendly, like kind, right? Caring, warm and caring and friendly, right? And he was like, I think that's your brand. He was saying that every time he came and he interacted with me, that's the feeling he got, that I was friendly, I was warm, and I was caring. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, like, thank you very much, But he was saying, now this is the lens that we're going to look through. What he meant by that is everything that I post on social media, any kind of advertisement or marketing that I put out there, he's saying, now we can look at it through this lens. Is it warm and caring and friendly? Oh, helpful was the one. We changed friendly because warm and caring is friendly, but helpful. He was saying, you're very helpful. And I love being helpful. I feel like that was my purpose for being here on earth, is to try to help others. Why am I sitting here doing this? I want to help others because I struggled through the same thing. I didn't know what branding was. I literally did not know what a brand was, I knew what a brand was, but like Coca-Cola, but it's almost like the way I thought of branding was the way cowboys brand their cattle, they put their initial, or, they just, put their brand on a piece of cattle, it's like, that's what I thought a brand was, you just put your brand name on a pair of jeans or, on some product, and he's like, that's not what a brand is. A brand is your personality. How do people view if your business was a person, what would it look like? How would they act? How would people describe your business if it was a person, if it was a human being, right? And that's what we came up with. Helpful, warm, and caring. And so every time I make a post, I have to ask myself, that's the lens that I look through now. Is this going to be helpful? Is this going to be warm? Is it going to be caring? If I can hit all 3, that's a great post, on social media or anything. If I can even just hit 1 or 2, still. But I don't want to stray away from that. I want to make sure everything that I do reflects and gives that feeling of warm and caring and helpful. And he's saying you want to just stick to 3 or less, and that's why with Coca-Cola, what do you feel when you see Coca-Cola? Well, for me, it's, comforting, refreshing enjoyment, you know? If you think about Apple, creative. What else? Individual, it's like free thinking, it's free thinkers, artists, and what else? Like it would be people who are creative, right? Creative people, artistic people. That's what Apple, that's kind of how I feel when I think of Apple. When you think of Harley Davidson, what comes to mind? For me, it's the guy with the beard, the long hair, the leather jacket, the black helmet, riding a big chopper. It's like, that's the image that I get, that freedom, that lifestyle. And so, with your brand, whatever business you're in, you want to think about, if my business was a human being, if my business was a person, what would they look like? What would their personality be? And then every one of your posts, you want it to be reflective. You want it to reflect that. If your business showed up at a party, what would the impression be? What kind of impression would be left on the people that was there, that your business interacted with? If your business went to some get together and mingled with everybody, had conversations with them, and it was a real person, when your business leaves that party, what is the impression people would have of your business? And if you can really sit down and think about that, and maybe write down, like I did, 10 descriptive words, and then narrow it down to about 3 that really resonates with you. What would people say about your business when you're not around? How does your client or your customer, how do they describe your business when they're telling a friend about it, right? Really think about that. And now you have a better idea, you're more clear on what your business brand is, what your personality of the business is, and how people view you. And once you're clear about that, now you know that every post you do, you want to always reaffirm that, remind them of your why your business exists, right? And how you do it reflects why you're in business. It shows why, it shows, okay, this is what I believe, this is how I do it because I believe so strongly in this, and this is just what I do. I happen to groom dogs, So I'm passionate, I'm artistic, I love being able to express myself freely, and I have a deep connection with dogs. Grooming is just what I happen to do. I just happen to groom dogs, Oh my goodness. So I noticed that when I went to my clients' houses, and this is early on, when I first started my house call grooming business that I'm doing now 3 years ago, whenever I would just go into a new client's house, I would just start explaining my process, the science of the anatomy of the skin, how the pores work, the season change, and I would see their eyes just glaze over. I would literally, like, in my head, I'm like, oh no, you're losing them. They're losing interest. You're about to, did they just yawn? I could tell that I was boring them. And so I would just stop. I would just stop explaining what I was doing. I'd be like, you know what? I don't even care about this grooming stuff. And as soon as I said that, they would it was almost like it woke them up, They're like, what? And I would tell them, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't really care about all this grooming stuff, all this science. I don't care about that. I was never really good at science. I'm an artistic guy. Art's my thing. And then they just kind of look at me. I tell them, the only reason why I study so hard and I care so much about the science of the skin and skincare, and I take so much time and I do what I do, is because I'm crazy about your dog. I love your dog so much that I'm willing to put myself through the late nights, burn the midnight oil, and study as hard as I can, so I know how to properly take care of your dog's skin, so that they can be healthy, happy, and comfortable. I am crazy about your dog. And I would tell them, this is before I actually spent more time grooming myself and, doing conditioning my hair and stuff. I just buzzed my hair. I would just get my clippers and I would do like a 2 all over, a O comb all over, And I literally used my dog grooming tools on my own head, and I would just buzz my head because I didn't care, you know. And I would tell my clients honestly, if I was that crazy about grooming, if grooming was my passion, I would keep myself better groomed, you know. And I don't. I work really hard. I'm willing to work really hard and do all of this because I'm crazy about your dogs. Your dog is what I'm really passionate about. You know, and that's when I saw their eyes, you know, just warm up. And I felt like we made a connection on a heart level, on an emotional level. Now they feel what I feel. They see what I believe, you know, and they understand why I'm in business. They understand why I do what I do. So I'm crazy about your dog, right? So that's why now 3 years later, I'm still going to the same homes. And they don't even, you know, I mean, they just give me the gate code sometimes and the code to their door. You know, I even have my own code to one of my clients' houses. You know, I have my own code. I go up there and I push my code in there, and you know, I guess it also lets her know, you know, that I'm the one that opened up the door because it probably shows that, you know, I put the code in, so she knows it's me. But yeah, one of my clients, there's a key hidden. Two of them actually, they hide a key and they tell me where the key is. I open the door and I go in because they trust me now, because they know why my business exists. They know why I care so much, and they trust me. That trust, that relationship has been built over time, and it's not transferable. And I realize that when I'm ready to hang up my grooming shears, there's nothing to sell. I have no business to sell. It's June the groomer. You know, it's me. I'm a freelancer, right? And they're buying my service. They're buying me. You know, I'm selling myself, right? And so these clients who I know where the key is, some of them I have my own code, some of them I know what their code is, and I just go in their house with nobody there. I can't text them and say, hey, by the way, I have somebody new that I just trained. You can trust them. They groom exactly the way I do. They follow my process. They'll be there at 9. They'll probably text me back like, what? Excuse me? Right? Because I even it was about a year and a half ago. I was thinking, okay, I'm filled to capacity. I can't take any more dogs on my schedule. If I want to scale this, if I want to grow and expand, I have to take on an apprentice, an assistant, you know, and that way I can get the groom done faster with the extra pair of hands. They can help me clean and set up faster, and that way I can do another extra, and I can take one more appointment every day. That means that I could possibly take on maybe 20, 30 more clients, right? Because every day if I add on one more client, then because I don't work every day, 6 days a week, so 3 weeks, so I could add about 15, maybe 20 clients. And I was like, wow, that would be a lot of extra income, you know? That would more than pay for the assistant, you know, and then some. And so I emailed all my clients, and I just asked them what they thought. Well, I didn't even get to email all of them. I started to, and I just stopped because the overwhelming response was, we're not comfortable with this. You know, you're coming into our home. And some of my clients aren't even comfortable with me filming or anything, you know? So like today even, I didn't put anything on social media as far as their home or their dog or anything, because, and this is just my opinion, but I think some people, when they get so well off, I think that they try to be very careful that they don't look like they're flaunting it, you know? I think they want to be very careful with that, so other people don't get the feeling that they're bragging or they're boasting or flaunting how well off they are. And so I think that might have something to do with it. I'm not sure, just my opinion. But yeah, it's like one of them even said like, we trust you, June, and we trust that you're making a decision, you know, that's going to be the best for you, but we would like to sit down and meet with them first, you know? And I was like, oh, yeah, I understand. I mean, they're going into your home, and I can't keep an eye on them the whole time. You know, what if they say I need to go use the restroom, and I'm working on the dog? I can't be like, oh, let me go follow you, you know, and watch you. You know, that's weird, you know? So, yeah, it's like, but what if they don't go to the restroom? You know, I don't know, you know, like, and so, yeah, I just decided for me, I'm not trying to scale anymore. And again, I made the mistake again. A few months back, I hired an assistant who lives in another country, and she was helping me, with the communication, the emails with my clients. Because for me, writing my clients and communicating through email, that wasn't the hard part. I actually enjoy it. But what was difficult for me is figuring out the days and the rotation, getting everybody on a different day, and just that whole organizational. I was horrible at geometry and math and all of this stuff, So for me, I like to work in concepts, ideas, and principles. My favorite class and all throughout school was history, English, literature, psychology, philosophy. That was my thing. Anytime it was like anything that had to do with STEM, science, technology, math, I just, oh man, it's just. So I hired an assistant, and again, after a couple months, my clients were telling me, like, hey June, when I was at their homes, like, I really miss you emailing me, like we really like that personal touch, and they were saying like, it's okay, but like can we email when she emails us, can we still address you and ask you questions, and will you still respond? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, maybe I strayed a little bit, because the idea was if she could free up a little bit more of my time, maybe I can do more, like maybe one more client, or like, do other things. But I realized I can still do that, especially now that I have this office space here, I have somewhere to come and dedicate some time and just focus only on doing the scheduling and the emails. And I can still do other things like streaming and sharing information and sharing my experiences like I love to do, So I had to let her go. It was a difficult decision because she's a great person. She did a great job. It's just that being clear on my brand, on what my business personality is, warm and caring and friendly and helpful, right? The emails that were coming from her was a little bit more professional. The tone was different. It wasn't the warm and caring and helpful tone that usually comes from me. And so because of that, again, being able to deliver on your brand, on being able to deliver on your promise, right? On what your brand, your business promises to do, you have to be able to deliver that every time. Even in the emails, in everything that I do, I have to be able to deliver on my promise. And so I had to let her go, and I took over the emails again, and now I'm doing all the emails, and it's June the Groomer. Again, when I'm ready to hang up my grooming shears and my grooming gloves, I guess, and I'm ready to retire, I have nothing to sell. I can't sell June the Groomer. Even if I did happen to meet somebody named June and he happens to be a groomer or she, I still can't sell June the Groomer. It's me. My business is me. It's my personality. So there's nothing to sell. You can't transfer trust. And the best example I have of trust not being transferable or relationships not being transferable is if one of my friends from high school, back in high school, like my friends that I grew up with, right? We talk to each other a little differently. And so let's just say that he came in right now. He came in through the door and said, "Hey, what's up, asshole?" Right? I'd say, "Hey, what's up?" Whatever, right? Let's just fill in the blank. "Hey, what's up, so and so?" Right? Let's say he happened to bring a friend with him that I've never met. And he comes in, and because he's friends with my friend, and my friend came in and said, "Hey, what's up, asshole?" And he comes in and says, "What's up, asshole?" I'd be like, "Hey, who are you? Like, you don't get to call me that. My friend earned that. My friend earned the privilege to call me an asshole. You don't get that privilege. Like, we just met, and now I don't like you. Trust, relationships, they're not transferable. You have to earn and build your own relationship that's unique with that person and that dog. Same thing with dogs. The dog Harley, that Yorkie, the aggressive Yorkie that made me famous on YouTube. Even now, he gets a little snappy sometimes. It's just he's been doing it for so long. But now he trusts me enough to kiss me. He loves me. He actually comes up to me now, and he used to go and hide. and growl at me. But now he actually comes and greets me, you know? But it's because I've been grooming him for like 5 years, and I earned it by being patient with him and earning that trust from him. It took years. Now, I can't have somebody come in who is a talented groomer. Let's say they've won awards, and they won several competitions. They're skilled. They're fantastic groomers. Still, I can't say, hey, you take over. They're going to get bit because Harley doesn't know them like that. Harley, especially, is the type of dog that really needs some time to get to know you, or he's going to bite the crap out of you, and he's going to get vicious. And even though he's not like that with me, doesn't mean that he's somehow fixed, you know, like, and there's no more issues. He's just like not like that with me now, because he trusts me. I've earned that. But again, it's just like someone else coming in and say, hey, what's up, asshole? Harley will bite the crap out of them, you know? Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow, Bargill is here. What's up, Bargill? Actually, I got his real name. You guys want to know his real name? I don't know. Unless he wants to put it in there. Let's see. Kyle says, okay. Kyle, that's why I don't like large salons. I feel like house calls is better, to be sure. The one dog is your focus, and you don't feel rushed, and the dog isn't stressed from all the other dogs. And again, I don't want to say that house call is better than the salon, you know, because I might actually end up opening up a salon so that I can actually start teaching, you know, other, you know, kids how to groom, like younger people or even older people, anybody that wants to, you know, they feel like they want to make grooming their new career. If I want to apprentice people and teach people, it has to be in a shop environment. I realize house call is not the right environment and not the right business model to bring on somebody and teach them and take, you know, it's just not, because again, people feel funny about who they let into their homes, and that trust is not transferable. So I'm not saying that house call is better than salons. I'm just saying that right now, because it's house call, I do want it to be very personal, extremely personal, intimate, one-on-one, you know, and like you said, focus just on that dog and individualized service just for them. And I can only do 1 or 2 a day. So my clients who are those 1 or 2 people, they feel extra special. But a salon environment, you can still set it up where people still feel special, and they feel, as long as they understand why that business exists. Why did you open up that salon in the first place? What do you believe? What do you really care about? And as long as they're clear on that, then yeah, I've worked at several salons, you know, where the clients, they really believe in that shop, and they won't go anywhere else because they know the owner of the shop, they know why they opened up the business, they see how much they care about the dogs, and the work is consistent, you know. And their groomers that work there, they all believe the same thing. They're all on the same page, you know. They all have the same intentions, and they work together nicely. There's a good environment, and that's it. It can work. A salon is not better or worse than anything. I'm just saying, instead of thinking about better or worse, think about what am I? You know, what is my business? Why is my business in, you know, why does my business exist? Why am I in business? And if my business was a person, what would it look like? And June the Groomer, my business, it looks like this, and he acts like this. You know, it's pretty easy because I'm June the Groomer. But if it's another salon, like my friend's salon, Barbara, Barbara Johnston, and her business partner Angela, you know, Barbara taught me how to groom, and we worked together at the animal hospital, and she was grooming for maybe 10, 13 years at that point. So now it's been like another 9 years. So she's been grooming like close to 20 years probably. And, you know, and her shop is called Swanky Paws in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And her logo is very chic, very hip, you know? And that's the feel that you get even when you go in their shop. It's clean, it's nice, the way it's set up and everything. And even the environment, you know, she has colored hair, you know, and that's the vibe you get. And you understand why she's in business. You know, she likes to make dogs happy and look nice, and they even do hair coloring. I don't do color. But here's the thing. I actually took a class, and I went to a workshop where they did hair coloring, how to dye dogs, because I wanted to learn how to do it. Not because I was gonna do it, but because when I refuse to do it, it's not because I don't know how. I thought that was a very important distinction to make, and that's why I went to the workshop and learned how to do it. Because I don't, that's not my thing. I don't want to color dogs. I love the natural look. I think dogs are beautiful no matter what, even if they have a, that underbite, or overbite, or if they're missing an eye, or if their ear is shaped weird. I think they're all beautiful, and I think it's their flaws that make every dog unique and beautiful in their own special way. And so I liked keeping them looking as natural as possible and just nice and tight and, cleaned up, just neaten them a little bit. But I tried to honor the natural look of the dog and just highlight their features, accentuate it. And so I don't like to color dogs. I'm not against it. I'm just saying that's just me personally. I understand my style. I understand my personality, right? It doesn't match my personality or my brand. But when somebody, a potential client, does ask, June, can you color my dog's ears pink? I can say, I know how to do it, but that's just not my style. I don't like to do it, and so I don't offer that service. But I do know I took a workshop and I do know how, but that's not my style. Just like if you went to a Japanese restaurant or a Thai restaurant and you ask them, can you fry me some eggs? Can you get me some eggs and bacon? I would hope that the chef says, I know how, but that's not what we serve here. That's not what this restaurant is. So I wanted to make sure I was refusing the service of coloring dogs, not out of ignorance, but more out of clarity, being clear on what my business stands for, who I am. Lee says, Apple equals proprietary. Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it is kind of, their unique thing, and Lee says, sorry, that wasn't really helpful. No, it is. I mean, the thing is, Apple has become a little bit, and even Apple users, iPhone users, if you look on YouTube, a lot of people are complaining these days, it almost feels like Apple is a little bit, they've almost forgotten why Steve Jobs started Apple in the first place, right? Remember that commercial that was so moving and touching where Steve Jobs was like, this is for the outcasts, this is for the misfits, the ones who don't fit nicely in the box, the ones who don't feel like they belong, the ones who think so differently, the outsiders. This is for you. It's like, wow. It was moving and touching, especially for an outsider like myself, someone who feels like I don't really fit into the mold. I don't really fit in a nice, neat box. My life is messy, and I don't really play by the rules. I don't play by other people's rules. I made my own rules, for my own business, and that's the thing. The way I groom my dogs and the way I provide my service is so different that I didn't have a mold to go by. There was no mold set for me. I had to create my own mold. And when it didn't work out, there was big consequences for me because I didn't have capital, I didn't have investors, I don't come from a rich family. So I was already in debt when I got a loan and got more in debt to start my business. And when I tried to do things so differently, and it just didn't really click because, it takes a while to get people to change their behaviors, and they're so used to just dropping off their dog and picking them up a couple hours later or a few hours later. And in so many grooming shops, it's just the norm. You just stack on a lot of dogs, 10, 15, 20 dogs a day, and you just do them as fast as you possibly can. And that's just the way grooming the industry is. Let's just be honest. I'm not trying to, talk badly about it. That's just how it is. You go to any grooming shop and you work there a few days and you'll know that what I'm saying is true. I wanted to make it different. I wanted to change it up and just do 4, maybe 6 dogs a day and really take my time on each one and individualize the service for each dog's personality and also the unique client, what their unique needs and wants are. So I tailored every groom to fit each client's individual unique needs. And because I did that and it didn't really catch on as fast as I needed it to on my first business, because I had a really big lease and everything, I fell flat on my face and it hurt a lot and I went in severe debt. There was huge consequences to pay. And so I had to break that mold and I had to come up with a different business model. And then I started grooming out of a home-based business where my living cost and my cost of doing business was now the same because I was doing the business out of the home that I was renting. And we made the den, our grooming area, we called it the groom room, and made a bathing section out in the carport, and we did it that way. And it took a while, but I could afford it to take a little bit longer because now the cost of doing business, the overhead was much lower. And so it took a while, but it started to gain traction again. And then we got all our old original clients from the other shop. They came to us and they made the drive because we were much further away now. They made the drive out and they started to bring their dogs to us regularly again. And then they told their friends. And then as we were starting to, get back on our feet, we had a family tragedy happen. Not tragedy, but, an emergency, a family emergency. So we went out west to Arizona. We had to just shut down shop suddenly. And here's the thing about delivering on your promise. My brand, it's personal. We care. It's about the relationship, But then when we had to move out west suddenly, we got the call in late December that my in-laws, were both sick. My mother-in-law was paralyzed in the hospital because she had a stroke. We got the call late December. We were out, packed up and out driving in a U-Haul truck in the middle of January. And we had to explain to the landlord what happened. He was completely understanding. But I should have been honest with my clients. I wasn't honest with them because I felt uncomfortable telling them about, what was going on with our family. And I wanted to hide that for some reason. Now lesson learned, transparency, honesty is the best policy. So what I did was I sent out an email, a newsletter to all my clients and everybody talking about how we have a great opportunity to move out west. And there's these big name groomers that I read in the magazines. I read their articles in the magazines and I looked up to them. And so I had a chance to go out there to try to work with them and possibly get them to mentor me so I can compete in the grooming competitions. And I wanted to be a show groomer. And that's what I put out there. So after things didn't work out west, and then we came back, I emailed all my clients, my old original clients, the ones that I had their email saved, and I let everybody know I'm back in town. No one responded. I mean, when I mean no one, I mean not even one. No one responded to the emails, and now I know why. It's because the brand, the promise that I made and what I actually delivered didn't match. And so now I lost their trust. The trust had been broken because I said that I cared about my clients the most and I care about the relationship. But then it seemed like at the first opportunity I had to become a famous groomer, I just dropped them like a bad habit, And it's like they felt lied to, they felt betrayed, and rightly so. I wasn't honest about why I really had to leave so suddenly. So then, I applied to different grooming shops. One of them didn't work out. Another one, I started working at, and then one of my clients emailed me, and she was like, "Hey, I see that you're starting to work at a shop now. Our dog misses you, or our dog's in need of a really good proper groom, and can we make an appointment at the shop you're working at?" And I was like, "Yeah, perfect." That first week I got fired because the reason that I was given was because some of her clientele saw my YouTube videos and they didn't like what they saw, and it rubbed them the wrong way because I'm awkward and I'm weird, and so they didn't like what they saw. They didn't like how I was doing things, and so she was saying that she really can't have me at her shop and affecting her business, so she let me go. I think the real reason is because I'm an idiot, and they didn't really know me that well. And I joke, sometimes inappropriately, to try to, that's how I cope with nervousness and feeling uncomfortable. I joke. And so it was quiet. We're all working. It's just kind of quiet. No one's saying anything. So just to break the tension, just to break the silence, I just said, I hope everybody understands what a privilege and honor it is to be working with me right now. Oh my goodness. And I didn't mean it was a joke, but no one laughed. And then I felt the panics, start to kick in. I'm like, oh no one's laughing. They think that I'm. So then I started to backtrack and explain why that was funny and how I don't really know feel. And anyways, the damage had already been done. I already opened my ignorant mouth and made an ignorant joke. Oh my goodness, I gotta tangle my hair here. There we go. So I also play with my hair when I get nervous. Even telling that story right now brought back the uncomfortable feeling of saying that stupid joke and then feeling the tension. I mean, oh man. So anyways, a couple days later, she sat me down, had that talk, and I got let go. So I guess lesson learned, don't make arrogant jokes on your first week on a job. Let them get to know you first before you say something ignorant like that. But anyways, so I had to call my client and let her know, hey, I'm sorry, I just got fired. I just lost my job, so I'm not gonna be there, so I guess, if you want to still take your dog there are groomers there that can groom him, but I'm not gonna be there. And so that's when she was like, why don't you just come over to my house? And I was like, I can do that? And she was like, yeah, just come over to my house on that day and groom my dog. And so I was like, perfect. So I went and I groomed her dog. I spent, all the time that to come out, to do my thing, it took a long time. And they loved, and the thing is, before, when they were dropping their dog off to me and they would come and pick up hours later, I mean, yeah, they knew it took a long time, but they didn't really see what was going on, but because I was there in their house and they saw I was working the entire time, sweating, and then at the end, their dog looked and felt amazing, and he's happy. It really made. I think that when you offer yourself wholeheartedly and you do the kind of work that is generous in nature, and they can tell that you really care about them. When someone feels cared for and taken care of, it moves them, myself included. When someone goes above and beyond for me, I feel so touched and grateful that I feel compelled to share their business with others, to help them, because I feel so grateful for the way that they served me. Just like Josh at Clipper Pros down the street, he even offered a discount on my services. I was like, no, I want to pay full price because I want to support your business, and it makes me feel better to pay full price. I was like, I'm not doing this to get a discount or get anything out of you. I was like, I am just so impressed with your level of service and your generosity and your willingness to go the extra mile, and I can tell that he really, really loved helping. And so I was like, it's my pleasure to help your business if I can, by sharing your business on my social media platform. Even today, he gave me a book. Well, he tried to give it to me. I was like, no, I'm buying it. And it's how to become $100,000 hair cutter. How to become a 100K hair cutter by Even Zook. But anyways, I shared it on my Facebook page. But yeah, he tried to give it to me for free because he was saying several groomers have called him, and from that posting, he's gotten some business from it. And he was like, "Thank you so much." I was like, "Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to do that because you're so helpful and you're so generous." And I was like, "It's my pleasure, and you really care." He really cares about his work and doing a good job for his clients. So, like he tried to give me the book, and I was like, no, I want to pay full price. But anyways, it's the same thing. When you go the extra mile for your client and you really make them feel cared for and taken care of, and you try to really understand what it is they need and you deliver that, it really moves them. Jim Rohn put it best. Jim Rohn said, if you can just forget about the money and just serve your clients to the best of your ability, they will take you by the hand and open doors for you that you never could have opened on your own. You never could have even imagined that those doors even existed. But those clients can open them for you. You know, if you will just serve them to the best of your ability and just forget about the money while you're doing it, they will take you by the hand and they will literally open doors for you that you never could have opened on your own. And that is 100% true in my case, in my experience. Margo, hey June, I got a question for you, or anyone else for that matter. Is it legal to perform surgery on an animal without medical license or degree in a vet setting? I mean, yes, it's illegal. Here in America, at least it is. And in every state in America, it's illegal to perform any kind of procedure, veterinarian procedure, that's intrusive, that's internal medicine, you know, you cannot. Unless you're the owner. You know, if you own that dog and you cut your own dog open and you try to stitch him up, I don't think there's any, I don't know. I mean, you know, people will probably frown on that. You know, they'll be like, that's not a good idea. And I know some people who actually give their dogs, you know, insulin shots and things like that for diabetic dogs and things like that. So you can administer, you know, shots and things to your own personal dog that you own. But for groomers, we're not allowed to do it. We're not even allowed to do teeth scaling. You know, I know some groomers offer that, but you got to be very careful with that. In some states, even doing anal gland expressions is a no-no for dog groomers because it's internal. Anything inside the dog's body, we're not allowed to mess with as dog groomers. Anything that's outside the dog's body, the skin, the hair, aesthetic, you know, anything that's aesthetic. That's what Yves Saint Bernard has a program that's called Skin Esthetician. You know, you become a skin esthetician. We're working on that outside of the dog's body. We can clean their ears, but we can't go in their ears and try to do anything. No, you can just clean the outside of the ears that you can see, you know, but you don't want to dig in their ear canals. But yeah, no, we're not allowed to do that. You have to be a licensed veterinarian. Bargil, asking because the veterinarian who offered a position to work at his vet said I do not need it and they teach me. Ooh, I'd be very careful with that. And that his employees there mostly don't have degrees or licenses. So I think I'm getting scammed or something. Yeah, that's really sketchy. Kyle Martin says, seems sketchy, but yeah. Lee says, I agree. Yeah, that's very sketchy. I mean, I'd really be careful with that because I know that even teeth scaling, we're not allowed to do unless you're a licensed vet. Yeah. Lee Rowley says, oh, Bargil, oh, let's see here. Okay. Bargil says, yeah, it really seemed odd to me at first, just wondering if I'm not the only one who feels that way. Yeah, go with your gut. Usually your gut is right, you know? Kyle Martin says, steer clear and maybe call the authorities. I would definitely maybe call the authorities because if that's how they run their business, it would probably be safe to say it's pretty shady, you know, and dogs may be getting mistreated, you know, not mistreated like abused, but the treatment that they're supposed to get under a licensed vet, they're not receiving. They're getting it from somebody who is not licensed, and that's receiving mistreatment, right? They're getting and if they were honest with people coming to their vet's office and they told them right up front at the receptions, you know, the receptionist lets them know, oh, by the way, this procedure that you're paying for, it's actually being performed by one of our employees who is not licensed or had any proper schooling to do it. Are you okay with that? Most people would be like, no, I'm not okay with that. And they would probably call the authorities. So just think about that, Bargil. And I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm not really a big fan of telling people what they should do. But I do like to give my suggestions though, in my opinion, you know, and just my opinion, if it was me, I would want to contact the proper authorities and let the right people know, this is what's going on at this vet clinic, you know? Lee says, vets have to be licensed and go to a vet school. Exactly, Kyle's right. Bargill says, they told me I may have to euthanize pets. I looked at them because it wasn't even something I applied for. I applied for a receptionist position, and I'm pretty sure they don't do that. You know, the thing is, if that was me, I'd be like looking for a hidden camera. I'd be like, am I on a hidden camera show? Am I on Scare Tactics? You know, like what's going on here? You know, like that's crazy. Lee says, oh Bargill, I would run the other way. That sounds really sketchy. Extremely sketchy. Bargill, I did. I'm not going to associate with them again. Not only would I, if it was me, if this, I can only talk about for me. I'm not telling you what you should do, but if it was me, I would contact the local authorities. Lee says, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Yeah, because now there's a burden put on you. You know, the burden of knowledge. Before you didn't know that that was going on at that vet clinic, and so you know, you didn't have any kind of anything weighing on your conscience, but now you know, and now you have the burden of knowledge. What do you do now? Do you wrestle with your own conscience and turn a blind eye and try to forget what you saw there, what you heard there? Or do you do what you know is right? Right? You know that if it was a friend of yours or a close family member taking their dog to that vet clinic, you know what you would do, right? Now, and I'm really sorry that that happened to you, because yeah, now you have a burden placed on your conscience. But the thing is, you know, they say God never puts a test in front of you that you can't handle. Perhaps this happened to you because God knew that you are the type of person that won't just turn away, that won't just walk away from this. You know, I honestly believe that that's why I've been put in the grooming industry. You know, I never even knew that grooming was something that was a profession. You know, like 9 years ago when I got into it, I was just like, what is dog grooming? What? You know, I was like, can you make money doing that? Because I'm totally in. You know, I love dogs. But then when I got into the grooming industry and I saw what was going on, I saw how the dogs were being treated, and you know, I saw how people were just ignoring the way that the dogs were, the signals that the dogs were giving, that they were obviously stressed, they're obviously scared, and they're just, not only are those signals being ignored, but the dogs were getting reprimanded, yelled at, and punished just for expressing how they're feeling, because they're going through this thing that's unnatural for them, you know, and it's happening in a way that's very unnatural for them, and they're scared and they're stressed, and sometimes they act out, and then they're getting punished for that. You know, just doing more damage to them mentally and emotionally. And I saw this. I saw a problem that nobody else was seeing. Well, not nobody else, but as far as I knew, no one else in the shop was seeing a problem with this except me. And, you know, even though I went out of business, I went in debt, I kept failing, I kept struggling. You know, even one of my best friends told me, don't ever say dog grooming in front of me again. He was like, you know, you were so irresponsible, you know, and he was like, you're not even taking care of your kids. You know, you can take this job that's paying so much more and you can just walk away from this and you can actually take care of your kids better. And you just refuse to do that. You just, because you love dog grooming. And I was like, it's more than that. You know, I was like, I see this huge problem that no one else is really addressing or talking about. And I just can't walk away from it. I refuse to walk away from it. You know, dogs have been my whole life, and I feel like I owe it to them. You know, my dog literally prevented me from taking my own life when I was in severe depression, dealing with chronic back pain because I had herniated ruptured discs, L4 and L5, L5S1, the bottom disc in my spine. And I literally couldn't walk without extreme excruciating pain. And I felt like I was being torn in half, ripped in half, right at my midsection. And I was just laying in pain all the time. It hurt just to breathe, and it hurt to do anything. Just the thought of getting up from laying down terrified me because of how much pain I knew I was gonna feel whenever I shifted my weight. And I was just hooked on painkillers, and I didn't really see the point of living anymore, and I was gonna take my own life. But then my dog came up to me, and I felt like I'm letting her down. I was like, and I don't want this to be her last memory of me. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna walk her one last time. And because I didn't walk her for so long, my dog Angel, who's 14 now, I didn't walk her for so long because my pain, my back pain. And so I was like, she hasn't been on a walk for so long, and she's just been watching me be miserable. And I was like, I want her to have at least one nice memory with me before I go. And I took her on a walk, and during the walk, it hurt so bad. But then as I started walking, and my doctor even told me that this would happen, but as I started walking, I felt the pain started to become a little more manageable, a little less intense. And by the time I was done with the walk, my dog was so happy, and I was just like, man, and I just started thinking differently. But she literally saved my life, that moment. And several other times, dogs have always been there. One time I crawled into the doghouse with one of my dogs after something really bad happened in my house, and I just sat there and cried with her, and she was there for me. I feel like I owe it to them. I can't just walk away and let this continue to happen in the dog grooming industry. This multi-billion-dollar industry that's perverted what dog grooming really is. The thing is, the book that I bought from Josh, it said how to become a $100,000 hairstylist, right? And I think that it's called hairstylist because they don't actually groom us. Yeah, they're grooming our hair, but grooming is what we do in the morning, right? When we wake up, brush our teeth, and all. This is grooming, So when we say we're dog groomers instead of we're pet stylists, because you can say you're a pet stylist and that's your big focus, it's just styling the hair. But if you're a pet groomer, now grooming is something much more intimate. Grooming is what beavers do for each other. If you ever watch beavers grooming each other, or if you ever go to the pet store and watch rabbits, or if those ferrets grooming each other, grooming is something that's done by someone who's trusted. And it's a way for one animal to tell another animal, I care about you. We have this trust, we have this relationship. That's what grooming is in nature. Grooming is never done by another animal that they don't know. If you're dealing with wolves even, wolves that are laying in a pack, and then two of them, two that are close, or maybe, and they also do it to kind of build relationships as well. Chimpanzees do it. They groom another chimpanzee that's a little higher ranked to try to gain favor. Grooming is really it's something in the animal industry, in the animal world that is almost sacred, right? And to come in, let's say two monkeys on a tree, two chimpanzees on a tree, they're grooming each other, and another chimpanzee that's not a part of that group, first of all, wouldn't even be welcome in the group. But let's just say the group kind of tolerated this new chimp that came out of nowhere, and they're like, all right, whatever, you can hang out for a bit. And then he joins in with two chimps that are grooming each other, and he joins in. Now they're gonna put that chimp down. They're probably gonna kill him because it's so disrespectful. Same thing with wolves. Do you see two wolves in a pack, in a natural pack environment, and one's licking the other one's ears, cleaning it, and you can even see the way they do it. They're not just, let's get it done, It's very intentional, and it's done in a way that you can tell by the body language. It's I care about you. Let me help you, right? Let me provide you with some comfort. Now another wolf that's not a part of that group comes in, joins in. That wolf, that pack will put that wolf down. They'll kill it, because that's so disrespectful in the animal world. So why do we think that it's okay to just get a dog that we've never met before, put him in a cage, and then, he's stressed, all the other dogs are barking, and all this stuff. It's just a chaotic, busy environment, and he's shaking, and then we just put him on the table, and then when he's like, oh no, don't do that, oh no, don't touch me there, oh no, don't do that, and then we're like, hey, and then we string them up, we restrain them more so they can't move. It's like, we have human beings, we've perverted what grooming was supposed to be, what nature intended grooming to be. We've perverted it. So what I'm saying is, let's take a step back and let's try to slow it down a little bit and honor the process. Let's honor what nature, let's work with Mother Nature instead of trying to force it. Because nature cannot be controlled by force, only through understanding, right? So, and that's just me. That's just me and my business and how I do my business. And you don't have to believe what I believe, but the people who do, and they're on my schedule, they feel so special because now we're vibing, we're aligned. Our beliefs are aligned, and my clients, I can guarantee it doesn't matter if you can do a haircut better than me. They're not gonna jump ship. They're not gonna tell me, hey June, we found a more talented groomer. Their haircuts are a little bit better looking than yours. They're more skilled, and it's been nice. You know, thank you so much for your service, but we're gonna go with this other groomer because they're more talented than you. That's never gonna happen. Because why? It's not about what I'm doing. It's not about just grooming their dog. It's about why I do it and how I do it. That's what branding is. Let me see here. Wow. Okay, argue, I would run the other way. That sounds really sketchy. I did. I'm not okay. And then I said, okay. Braga says, nah, please don't reveal my name. I won't. Kyle Martin says, I meant for me, LOL, house call over salon. Salons are overwhelming for me. Exactly. And I think it's important to make that distinction, you know, whenever we make a statement like that, because I did the same thing before, and I rubbed a lot of groomers the wrong way, you know, because I'd be like, you know, this is the best way to do it. What I meant was, this is the best way for me. Kyle Martin, unless I was the owner, but small. Oh, what is this? Vagomyelitis. I'm glad they retracted that message. Oh no, okay, there's another message by Vagomyelitis. I'm not sure if it's what I'm thinking it is, but let's see. What does it say? I can't believe that anybody can actually be passionate about dog grooming though. Doing good work and whatever you do is one thing. Okay, and Kyle Martin says, what do you mean? Exactly. And that's the thing, vagomyelitis is not my client. And it's my service is probably not for them, not for that person. And that's okay, because I'm not trying to get everybody on my schedule, just one or two a day. And if you are that one or two, that means you believe what I believe. But that's the thing is, it's unfair and irrational for me to believe that everyone should believe what I believe. So yeah, I mean, it's just being clear on who you are, so that the people who agree with you and the people who believe what you believe and they feel connected with you and they have the same passion you do, they will find you and they will be your loyal clients, you know. But it's kind of like do you guys know what is his name? Jackson Pollock, the painter, Jackson Pollock. He does drip paint, you know. It looks like a little kid did it. Some of the paintings that my daughter Ava did when she was like 4 or 5 years old, it kind of looked like Jackson Pollock paintings, you know, just strip paint, you know, and all that. It just looks like, and literally when you watch the videos of how he did it, he just dabs the paint on different things, you know, even this, and then he'll just spray it or sometimes drip it, you know, onto the canvas. The thing is, Jackson Pollock paintings sell for millions of dollars because he did something so different than what everybody was doing. Now, honestly, it's not for me. But he wasn't making those paintings for me. He was making those paintings for the people who could feel what he felt and who believed in what he was doing and appreciated that kind of art. It's not for me. Right? Because I would never pay millions of dollars for one of Jackson Pollock's paintings. Shoot, I wouldn't even pay $10 for it, honestly. But you know, people who connect with that, and he doesn't need a lot. He only needs a few. How many multi-million-dollar paintings do you need to sell? Only a few, and you're set, right? And so that's the difference. It's just being clear on who you are and refusing to compromise, refusing to conform to what other people think that you should do. You know, not many people know this, but did you know Jackson Pollock had an older brother, Charles Pollock? Now, Charles Pollock was actually the more talented painter. because Charles Pollock, his paintings looked real. You can tell what it was, and it's realistic paintings, and it was like, he painted the way that their art teacher painted, the one who taught Jackson and his older brother Charles. And Charles was the one that actually got his younger brother Jackson Pollock into painting. He introduced him to his teacher, and but nobody's heard of Charles Pollock, even though his paintings were actually better. Well, I don't want to say better. His paintings were more realistic, and he was actually the more skilled painter than his brother Jackson. But nobody talks about Charles Pollock because his painting looked like other what everybody else was doing. It didn't really stand out. But Jackson Pollock did something so different that it caused a stir in the art world. He made waves in the art world. He really shook the boat. He rocked the boat and made a lot of people uncomfortable. But he was one of the very few artists who got to enjoy their success in his own lifetime. While he was alive, his paintings were selling for multi-million dollars. So that's the lesson. You don't want to groom dogs the way everyone else is grooming dogs. Even if you are very skilled and and you do perfectly round Bichon heads, still another skilled groomer that's talented can do it. When you go to the grooming competitions, I feel like the judges have a lot on their plate. I feel like the judges have a lot of pressure because how do you decide which one looks the best? They all look so great, right? Well, let's say we had a Jackson Pollock up there, and he did one poodle with the mohawk all the way down, with some spikes coming out. Now, even though he probably wouldn't win the competition, I bet he would draw a lot of attention because people would take notice because he's doing something different. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying it's different. It's unique, And that's why we remember Jackson Pollock, and no one knows about his older brother, Charles Pollock, Bargo says, I'll just do what I can to steer people away from that vet. I don't want to deal with legal stuff, and if they were just joking about the whole thing, I may be in trouble for false accusations. Well, it's not false accusations if that's what they told you, and you're just repeating what they told you, And if the authorities come to check it out and they say, oh no, we were just joking about that, usually. Okay, but yeah, we won't touch that because we're talking about branding and marketing. Showbob, what's up, Showbob? Oh my goodness, Showbob found my new channel. Hey June, thanks for sharing that story about your first business. I didn't know that about you. I shut down my shop several years ago, still paying for it financially. Yeah, Showbob, oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, my advice to anyone, try not to go out of business. And I know no one does it on purpose, but man, Showbob, I've been there. I know how difficult and scary it is to have to pick up the broken pieces of your broken dream. When you have to shut down your shop and you go in debt, and it just feels like, I remember saying to myself, why did I work so hard to go in this much debt? I could have sat on the couch eating potato chips, watching TV, and I wouldn't have gone in debt this bad. Like, why did I try and work so hard and go in debt this much, and fail and get my heart broken? And the public embarrassment, to fail so publicly, it was embarrassing. Especially the posts I was putting up on Facebook, because I was dishonest. I wasn't telling people exactly what was going on. I was struggling to pay my rent. No. I was like, trying to make it look like I was doing well. And, follow your dreams, believe, conceive, receive, the law of attraction. And then I lost my business and went in debt. I was like, I'm never going on Facebook again. I was like, delete the Facebook page. I'm never going on Facebook again. I was embarrassed. I wanted to go and hide. I really did. But I realize now, it doesn't do anyone any good, even especially yourself. You gotta keep moving forward and taking that next step. Vagomegalitis says, do you feel as though it's more unnatural to treat animals like pets or to allow them to be in their natural habitat? Do you feel, let me see if I understand this question. Do I feel as though it's more unnatural to treat animals like pets or to allow them to be in their natural habitat? Unnatural. Well, I don't know because the thing is, dogs are domesticated animals, right? And a lot of dogs they were born in a home, you know, in a breeder's home, and they're usually in raised with us as pets, and they're not born out in the wild, out in the forest somewhere, usually. And then, they're raised by caring breeders, hopefully, and they're shown a lot of love and affection. They're part of our human family. They're part of our home. And then, if it's a good breeder, they usually are pretty selective about who they sell their puppies to, and they're looking for people who are wanting to provide a loving home for their puppies. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like I think being treated as pets, as our pets, it is kind of natural for them, right? If that's all they've known, they were never out in the wild, but they do have those instincts though. Like a herding dog, a sheepdog or a border collie. When they actually do herding work, like field work, or even one of my clients has 2 spaniels and he takes them out hunting with him, and he said they love it, because you're satisfying that natural urge, that desire that was bred in them for centuries. When you see a dog doing what they were actually bred to do, herding sheep, it's a wonderful sight, and you can see how fulfilled that dog feels. And so I think it's a little bit of both. It's trying to fulfill all their needs. Their need to feel a part of a pack, as a contributing member, a valued member of a family. That's what dogs really want. They're pack animals. And then also fulfilling their need for exercise, fresh water, food, but then also the natural desire, the natural instincts that they have to do what they were bred to do. My dog Angel, for example, she has some Jindo in her. Her mom was a Jindo, and a Jindo are Korean dogs that live on this island in Korea called Jindo. And on that island, the island of Jindo, they protect their breed so fiercely that a lot of dogs, they don't even let it out. So a lot of Jindos that we have were smuggled out, So the island of Jindo, they protect their breed so fiercely that if another breed that's not a Jindo, if it's caught on their island, they put it to death immediately. And so, but in these Jindos, they're bred to be hunting dogs, and they're a little aloof. They don't really get along with other dogs. They're kind of have aggressive tendencies. They don't back down from any threat, and that's just how they are. And so my dog Angel is kind of like that. When I take her to a dog park, I have to keep an eye on her. Sometimes keep her on a leash, because she will start a fight. When she was younger even, and I let them out, she would jump the back fence and just be gone for a while. Come back after she killed something or something. It's like, I don't know what she did. But yeah, Jindos are known to be kind of like that, and I have to honor that. I have to respect that part of her, because that's what she was born to do. And I feel like nothing is more frustrating than feeling like you're not being allowed to do what you feel like you were born to do, the feeling that you're being restricted from expressing who you really are. And I think dogs are the same way. Kyle says, are you talking about dogs or dingoes here? Because there's a huge difference between domestic and wild. I wouldn't groom a dingo. Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I was kind of, touching on too, Kyle. If there was a dog that came from out in the wild, that's never been part of a household, that's not domesticated, then yeah, I would hesitate before I groom that dog. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, I would try to first gain my 4 steps. Build rapport, and then, prep the skin, and then wash and dry, and then the haircut. I probably wouldn't get through all the steps in one day, the first day meeting a wild dog, like a dingo. But yeah, I would try to somehow assimilate myself into their pack, get them to trust me first, just hang out with them, just get them comfortable with me being my presence, so that they don't feel like I'm a threat, and they don't attack me and kill me. Maybe just start pawing at the ground, just act like I'm just another animal, just not even interested in them, just like Jane, what is her name? Oh my goodness, she did a lot of work she did like groundbreaking work with the gorillas. Jane, anyways. she did the same thing. All the biologists told her those gorillas will tear you apart. They're gonna kill you, and she didn't listen to them. She knew in her heart that she could observe them better in their natural state. And every time she felt like they were kind of uncomfortable with her being around, she said she would just start digging, like she was just looking for berries or something, and then they would just put them more at ease, and they would be more comfortable with her. And it took a while, but then she started to become more familiar with them, and she started to be able to recognize each one individually, and started to recognize individual personality traits in those gorillas. Same thing. That's the same thing how I would approach wild dingoes. I would take my time and make sure they were okay with me first, and then I would wait for as long as it took, even if it took months, for them to invite the touch. And I would not try to pet them until I saw a clear invitation, like, you can touch me now. And now gently, just scratch the back of the ears, maybe under the chin, not over the head, just to show that I'm not challenging you at all. Just under the chin and things like that. And then let them smell me. Present my back. Things like that. And I would slowly do it like that. But if we're talking about domesticated dogs, they're already used to human interaction. Vago Miletus, I think dogs are aggressive pack animals. And when they have weak owners that suppress their natural instincts by treating them like dolls or stuffed animals, it makes them deranged. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, and the thing is, dogs are not always aggressive though. They for centuries, for thousands of years, dogs have been working side by side with man, helping us herd sheep. Scottish Terriers, Westies, even West Highland Terriers. Westies, you can actually pick them up by their tail. That's because they were bred to do that. And actually, in some of the shows, I think they banned it now, but they used to pick up the Westie by the tail to show sound breeding. This dog was bred well. The reason for that is Terriers. Once they zero in on something, and like you said, yeah, it is kind of aggression, but it's controlled aggression. It's not just uncontrolled aggression towards everyone, with the farmer that raised them. No, it's just these badgers and, whatever they're hunting. When they go in the badger's den and they're going at it with this badger, the the farmer had to grab the Westie by the tail and literally pull him out by the tail. And that's why they were bred that way, But yeah, when the farmer pulled his own dog out of the badger's hole, it's not like the Westie turned and bit his owner. No, because that's a family member, that's a pack member, So they're not just aggressive just to be aggressive, Understanding, see, nature cannot be controlled by force, only through understanding. It's understanding the breed, understanding their needs, and fulfilling those. Lee says troll. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling too. Vaginalitis, why? Because you don't agree? No, I'm just stating my opinions, and this is my channel. This is not the channel for Vagomegalitis 3's opinions. Like a platform for Vagomegalitis 3. And it's probably 3 because your other 2 channels probably got banned because you're a troll. Anyways, I'm not going to read any more comments from them. Patty says, exactly, Lee, I agree. Yeah, exactly. Ignore the troll. Exactly. And same thing like Seth Godin says, it's not for the unbelievers. It's not for people like Vagomelitis who's gonna just, argue for the sake of argument. It's not, this channel is not for them. And so, yeah, I'm just going to ignore. Lee Raleigh says, yep, my inner grammar nerd is being held tightly in check. Nice. Patty says, hey June, hey guys, what's the crazy guy talking about this fine evening? What's up, my favorite dog dad? David T. Welcome, David T. We're talking about branding and marketing, but this conversation is starting to go a little bit all over the place. Jessica Anderson, hello, what's up? Show Bob says, hey Bargil, I worked at a clinic and the techs do not perform surgeries. Exactly. I worked at a vet clinic as well, and no, that's a huge no-no. However, they do assist during medical procedures. That could be what they meant. I would get more information. That's true. Let's give that place the benefit of the doubt. You know. David T, my favorite dog dad says, "How have you been, Bargill? You have continued to progress and enjoy learning new things. Have you continued to progress and enjoy learning new things about grooming? Where are you at still?" Yeah, I asked him that in the last live stream, and he's making progress. He's still working with animals, with dogs especially. David says, "Hi Lee and Patty. You guys are on the troll. Watch this evening. Doing a good job. Nice." Bargill says, "If that's what they meant, then they didn't explain it correctly. But telling me that I'll probably have to euthanize a dog is extremely sketchy." Yeah. That's a red flag in my opinion. Mine too. Bargill says, "I have zero vet experience, and the resume I handed them only listed my experience with dogs, only specified bathing, grooming, and daycare. They should not be telling me to possibly put a dog down." Exactly. Our favorite groomer. This is Patty. "Hey David, how are things going?" "Yeah, trolls are getting easier to spot. Haven't seen one in a while." "Yeah, me neither." Lee says, "Hey David." Bargill says, "Either way, I'm no longer going to associate with them. It's really sketchy, and I'd rather work for a vet for the position I applied for, not something the vet wants to force on me." Exactly. And that's really good for you. You don't ever want to let anyone ask you to do something you're uncomfortable doing. Showbob says, "Under vet supervision and proper training, the techs do euthanize animals. They were probably giving me the job description to see if it's of interest to you." Yeah, maybe. My favorite dog dad. "Things are going good. Busy settling in here, still in Indiana, and getting ready to share with you guys my adventure of setting up from scratch here and learning from all June's mistakes." Thanks for failing, June. You're welcome. My pleasure. You know, I remember one person asked me on Facebook, they were like, "Don't you get tired of being a failure?" And I responded, I was like, "No, I'm actually getting pretty good at it." You know, I was like, "Wait till my next failure. It's going to be epic." Bargill says, "Chill Bob, that could have been what they meant, but quite honestly, I couldn't tell by how they explained it to me. It just sounded like they have their receptionists off euthanized pets too." Yeah, and you know, just go with your gut. You know, your gut usually is never wrong. Lee Raleigh says, "David, LOL. This is Patty saying, "Well, that's good, LOL." Jessica Anderson, "Jane Goodall. Thank you so much. It's Jane Goodall, and she did some groundbreaking, revolutionary. You know, like she revolutionized her field in biology. No one thought to live with the family of apes, gorillas. You know, I mean, those silverbacks. I mean, they could literally tear you apart limb by limb. But yeah, it's because she felt it in her heart, and she had a connection with them, and she wanted to show that they could be observed and studied. And we can make more progress understanding them in their natural environment. Because until Jane Goodall came along, primates were only studied in lab-controlled environments, and that's not a good way to learn about how they actually behave. Shobal, sounds like communication got messy, but I agree. If they didn't feel right, move on to the next. Exactly. Lee Riley, Jane Goodall worked with chimps. Diane Fossey worked with gorillas. Okay, sorry about that, but you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you for clarifying, Lee. Jane Goodall worked with chimpanzees, and Diane Foss, hopefully I'm saying that right, worked with gorillas. Perfect. My favorite dog dad, LOL. Tara, mean. Aw, okay. Kyle Martin, Tarzan and Jane worked with gorillas. Nice. Tarzan, I think it's easy to see how one could be passionate about dog grooming. However, yanking a tail, I get the history though, but tugs my heart. Yeah, and that's why this one breeder, this one show, they were showing their dog at, I think it was one of the show like rings in the UK, and they lifted their dog like that. They're immediately disqualified. And the person was like, what? You know, we've always done, this is to show good breeding. They're like, no, like, that's not necessary anymore. So I think the rules have changed to reflect the progress we've made as a society. You know, it's like, yeah, dogs, they're family members, they're pack members, you know, they want to be a part of our family. They want to feel cared for. They love the affection that they get from their family members, from their owners, you know, like, and so, yeah, I think that, you know, things like that, like lifting a dog by the tail, again, it's good to know the history and why they were bred to do that, but, you know, there's really no need to do that anymore, right? Lee Rowley says, Kyle, that too. Yeah. And here's how I see it. In the 80s, when I grew up, I don't fault my parents for beating us up so much, you know, because it was almost looked at as if you were a bad parent. You were an irresponsible parent if you didn't beat your kids. You know, at least where I grew up in New Jersey in the 80s. And it was even taught at our church, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. So it was almost encouraged by our pastor, you know, to discipline us physically, to take the switch to us, you know, because if you didn't, it was almost like you were being too soft on your kids and you were being an irresponsible parent. And so, yeah, my parents, they were extremely responsible. If you want to take it from that definition, my parents were very, very responsible parents because they beat the shit out of us. But hey, I don't blame them because that was the time we grew up in. But now, there have been much more study and much more data, much more, you know, information now that shows, that proves that there's a lot more damage that can be done to a child emotionally, psychologically. You know, you literally break the child, and then when they grow up, you have these broken adults. You know, and so now I think society has evolved. You know, as a society, we now understand that it's okay to discipline your child, but you don't want to get angry and lose control and beat them anymore. You know, it's just not it's just not the best approach, you know. But, you know, again, it's just the natural progression of things, you know. Like, that's what we did back then. That's what we believed. Now we have more information and we have more data and research to go on that shows maybe that wasn't the best way to do things, you know, and then now we can change, you know. Lee Rowley says, I had to look it up. Oh, nice. Yeah, with Google these days, I mean, we're all like super smart with as long as we have our phones, right? Bargill says, well, one of my good friends I used to work with at PetSmart has been telling me they incorporated double breed days. Supposed to be Jack Russells and Palms at once tomorrow. Ouch. Ooh, okay. Bargo, for a groomer's perspective, I can feel their pain. As a bather, I'm just laughing at them. Yeah, and Jack Russells, yeah, I mean, they're super energetic. They have high energy. They can run around circles for days. So yeah, Jack Russells are a little bit of a challenge to groom, but I mean, as long as you understand why they were bred to do that, you can work with it. You know, and by understanding, we can control our level of frustration as well because we understand the behavior, we get them. And so rather than get frustrated, we can feel fascinated, you know, and try to be creative, come up with creative ways to work around this, you know. Same thing with Portuguese water dogs. Now, I went to this one class for mobile groomers, and it was talking about, you know, how to price yourself, you know, how to structure your pricing for mobile groomers. And I didn't have a mobile van. I never had any intention to do mobile grooming, but I thought it was fascinating to learn how to do the pricing. Here's the thing, though. The biggest takeaway I got out of that class was not even about pricing. It was Portuguese water dogs. The groomer that was teaching the class, she specializes in Portuguese water dogs. She loves grooming Portuguese water dogs. And you could hear the groans in the classroom. All of us groomers like, oh, Portuguese water dogs, you know, because they can be a nightmare to groom sometimes. They're just, you know, all over, you know, they just can't stay still, just constantly, you know. And so she was saying, I know that a lot of groomers absolutely hate grooming Portuguese water dogs. She was like, because how they behave. She was like, but when you understand why they were bred, why they behave that way, what they were bred to do. They were bred to pass messages from ship to ship, and they were swimming in the open ocean. And sometimes they would help herd the fish by swimming around the fish in circles to help, gather the fish in one area so the fishermen can, throw the net and get the fish easier. And she was saying when you're out in the open ocean like that, swimming from ship to ship or swimming around to try to help, herd the fish, she was like they have to be very high energy. They have to have a lot of stamina and a lot of endurance, and they have to be independent thinkers. They have to be able to make decisions on their own because things can change out in the open ocean and currents can change. The ocean is very unpredictable. So she was saying they needed them to be very independent thinkers, which means that they don't make great obedient pets all the time. And every dog is individual and unique, but the breed itself, they have bred in them these tendencies. And so when they get on the grooming table, they're independent, free thinkers with a lot of stamina and energy and endurance. You're never going to wear them out. And so these can present very big challenges and obstacles for a groomer. But she was saying as long as you understand this, then you can work with them and you become more understanding and you can become, you're more patient with them because you understand the breed. And then as they feel more understood by you, they're more willing to cooperate with you because they can feel that you're not getting mad and frustrated with them. Because once you start to feel frustrated, even if you don't admit it to yourself, the dog can feel it. Let's see. Lee Riley, I always mix them up. They both were extremely remarkable scientists. Yes. Jane and the other lady that you said, Diane. And that's the thing, it's like they weren't trying to be like anyone else. They were just doing what they felt in their heart was right to do. And that's what made them so remarkable. Worth making a remark about, My favorite dog, that David T says, too many groomers think that the Jack Russells are doing something bad, but if they realize that it's in the breed's nature, it is a lot easier to remain calm and not let it actually frustrate you. Exactly. Margo says, the Pomeranians though, they're small, but those coats are a nightmare. It took me almost 5 hours to brush and demat after a bath on a few of those. Yeah, and the thing is, I do it before the bath, and it usually takes me a couple hours, like 2-3 hours, but then the bath is easy. After the bath, they dry so nicely because I front-loaded all of that work. And I'm not saying that, one is right or wrong. Just for me, I like doing all the hard work, all the laborious, tedious, unsexy, unfun, hard work. I like to do it all up front and get all that worked out. And then by the time I'm washing them, oh man, it just feels so nice and smooth. If they lather up so nicely, rinsing is it's easy to rinse them. And then they literally start to air dry on their own. So drying them and brushing them out takes no time at all. So by the time I'm doing the little finishing touches and scissoring, I'm singing, I'm whistling while I'm having a lot of fun. That's my art time. But it's all that prep work before the bath. That's the grunt work. It's hard. It's hard work. Let's see. Lee Raleigh, we almost got a Jack Russell until I researched and saw how much energy they had, and we knew we couldn't provide that since I was working full time. That's very responsible decision on your part because they're very cute, they're very fun to have around, but if it's not really a right fit for your lifestyle, if you're not a very active person and you go to work a lot, you work long hours, and you don't want a dog that's just, as soon as you get home, they're just spinning around 1,000 miles per hour, and jumping at you and everything. If that's not your thing and you know that, then that's, I think, a very responsible decision to make. Tara says, your voice is echoing, June. Do you have your video playing nearby or speakers playing? No, I just have this. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll do like... There we go. How does that sound? I just turned mic 2 off. Is the echo still there? Tara, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I didn't know. But hopefully you can still hear me. Oh, let me turn this one off too. Mic auxiliary 3. So it's just mic 1. Can you guys still hear me? Bargill says, oh dang, I think my dog had a nightmare. She's running around scared and freaking out. We rally. It was It was the Wishbone on PBS. Yeah, Wishbone. I remember watching that as a kid. Oh man, one of my favorite shows. Um, Tara says, also curious, what do y'all say about the work for the Cavachons? Just curious what our groomer may be saying about our puppy. So yeah, Cavachons. I have a Cavachon that I groom. His name's Bear. Cutest. Oh my God, so adorable. The thing is though, it's a lot of work because Cavaliers they have the sporting coat. They have that spaniel coat, which lots of hand stripping involved. They literally like turn their coat over every season. And the Bijans though, they have hair that grows long. So and Bijans you have to comb that hair out often. And so, yeah, you with the Cavachon, with the mix of the two, now you have a dog that requires a lot of combing and a lot of brushing. And because my client, they try to keep up with it, but especially around the season change, like especially the heart of the summer, June 21st is what they say is the peak shedding day for dogs. This last time I went and groomed him, he was pelted, matted head to toe, and they said that they were at the beach, they washed him, and they didn't comb him and do all the stuff that I do before they washed him, so he was literally just matted. And it took me a long time, it took me all day to work all that out, and then I gave him a nice haircut, and then she was saying that when I emailed her to follow up and schedule their next groom, she was telling me maybe we should schedule the groom a little sooner than before because he's kind of itching, and he's kind of itching, and it looks like his skin is bothering him. So I told her give him some Benadryl because a few different vets have told me that dogs can't overdose on Benadryl. That being said, don't give them a handful just because a vet said they can't overdose on Benadryl. You don't want to give them a handful or anything, but still, if you give them one full tablet instead of giving them a half, it's not going to do much damage. It's not really going to harm them. So it'll just make them kind of drowsy, just like when we take the Benadryl too. And so, but it is going to reduce the histamine being produced by their skin, which is causing that itchiness. And dogs, their skin produces more histamine than ours. And so when they itch themselves or lick or scratch themselves, that actually causes them to itch more. Just like when we get a mosquito bite, they say don't scratch it because when you do, it releases that histamine and it makes it itch even more the more you scratch it. Same thing with dogs. So I told her, give him a Benadryl, and if he continues to mess with his, scratch at himself, put a cone on him just for a day or two. We just got to get him to stop scratching himself just long enough and licking and chewing himself just long enough for his skin to just, heal itself, just go back to normal. And then I texted her just a while ago, earlier today, asked how he's doing. She said he's doing better. And then I told her, would you like me to stop by and just take a look? And she was saying, no, like only if it's convenient for you. And I told her, not only would it be convenient, not only is it not inconvenient, but I told her I want to because I want to make sure he's comfortable, because it's not like I have lots of clients. I have a few, and I want to take the best possible care of my clients, the best I possibly can. Again, it's about branding. My brand, I care a lot about my clients. That's my promise. I have to deliver on my promise. Everything that I do has to reflect that I'm doing my best to fulfill my promise to my clients, which is that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of your dog. And so, yeah, if she tells me that he's feeling uncomfortable, he's scratching, because a dog that was that matted and had that much going on with his skin that took me that long to do, yeah, of course, there could be some itchiness and some discomfort afterwards. So I told her, give him some Benadryl, and then I'm going to stop by on Saturday because she's saying, tomorrow and Friday, they're kind of in and out. So Saturday, I'm going to stop by and just take a look, maybe comb through him again, just make sure he's okay and comfortable because I want to take the best possible care of my clients that I possibly can. Showbob, good night. It's almost midnight, and I got a full load tomorrow. Good night, Showbob. Oh my goodness, it's 1 o'clock. It's almost 1 o'clock here. I got to go too. Tara, yes, lots of work for us at home. And Tara says, oh, you are amazing. Wow, thank you, Tara. I really appreciate that. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Okay, and so what I'm gonna just finish with is some practical things we can do. If you're a groomer, right? Even if you don't own your own shop, you are your own brand. You can brand yourself through Instagram and social media accounts. Really show why you care about the work that you do. Just like Michael Jordan, it wasn't called the Chicago Jordans. It was the Chicago Bulls. He played for the Chicago Bulls. He didn't own the team. He was just one of the players on the team. But he knew how to brand himself. And that's why he had the Air Jordans and he had other multiple streams of income. So that he knew that, and he even said that he didn't really worry about what he was going to do after he was done playing basketball. All he really concentrated on was being the best possible basketball player he could be, and he knew that that would open up other doors for him and other opportunities when he was ready to be done with playing basketball. And that's the same thing with dog groomers. Even if you're working at a shop, even if you don't own the shop, you are your own brand within that shop. And you can Grooms by Janine on Instagram is a great example. She posts pictures and streams on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel called Grooms by Janine. She doesn't own the grooming shop that she works at, but she is her own brand on social media, and she has a pretty good following. And people they buy into what she believes and why she grooms. She does live streams on Instagram and she explains what she's doing. She explains why she does what she does. She opens up about her personal life and the things that happened that led her to become a groomer. And so now we feel like we know her. We get to know her better and we understand why she grooms and why she loves it so much. And so people who find her on Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube and they see these videos, the people that connect with that her message resonates with, now they can bring their dog to her, even though it's not her shop. But they bring their dog to Janine because they want Janine to groom their dogs, right? David Forge, hey June, so glad I got to catch you live. Wow, thank you, David. I really appreciate that. Hopefully the sound is better now. I might have to go back and re-listen to this. If the sound was really bad, like, it kind of affects the way the message comes across and stuff, I might just delete this stream and try it again and maybe prepare a little bit better and have more notes and stuff to share and actually utilize this whiteboard behind me. Today, the reason why this came up was I had a conversation with someone, business related, and the topic of branding and marketing came up. And also, when I was at Josh's shop, the Clipper Pros, I bought a book by a hairstylist giving ideas on how hairstylists can become hugely profitable and successful. And it's about doing things that it was marketing ideas and helping understand why building a brand is so important. And I was like, this is a really important topic to touch on, and I think it would really help a lot of groomers. So that's why I decided to do it. I gave myself this time because I feel like when you commit to something and you put it out there in the universe, it almost it makes me feel more accountable. Like it makes me feel like I have to show up and do it. So I was just kind of scrambling and I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. And so I just came here. I'm just like kind of just winging it, with no notes, no nothing. And so I'm sure I could have done a better job if I prepared better. So maybe it's good that the sound quality, it sounded like an echo and things. Maybe I'll just delete the stream and try it again. Chill Bob, by the way, after listening to your groomer burnout talk, I decided to take a 3-day weekend this week. See you in the next one. Oh my goodness, Chill Bob, good for you. Take that time to really recharge your batteries. And when you're at work, be at work. Don't think about vacation. When you're on vacation, don't think about work. Be on vacation. Wherever you are, be there. Otherwise, you're just gonna mess it all up. But awesome, Bob. Thank you so much, and have a great night. I really appreciate your time. Our favorite groomer, Patty, says, June, have you ever taken 3 days on one dog, approximately 9 hours each day or longer? What was the longest it has ever taken you on one dog? I think the longest I've ever worked on one dog. I broke it up into 2 days. So I spent 7 hours one day combing out and dematting a huge giant doodle. And then I went back 2 days later because I had a groom. And so I went back 2 days later, originally on my day off, but I went back to finish this dog. And then I combed him out again, and that took another couple of hours. and then took him to a dog wash, washed him, brought him back, and finished the haircut. So probably worked on another 5 hours the second day. So 7 plus 5, 12 hours total, broken up into 2 days. That was my longest groom ever. Tara says, keep the stream. It was great info for me. Oh, thank you, Tara. And thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, because, I mean, I really, I didn't know. I mean, I'm still getting used to this new way that YouTube's set up to stream. I can't just stream straight from YouTube anymore. It's making me use encoding software. So that's it. So Lee says, you did great. Oh, thank you. Tara says, echo wasn't awful. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So here's in closing, just to summarize some points. Your brand is the feeling that people get when they see your business name. So that's why I wore the shirt, Coca-Cola, just as an example. But what do you want your potential customers and your current clients, what do you want them to feel when they see your name? What sort of feelings do you want to invoke in them, right? And a good idea is to write down maybe 8 to 10 words, as many as you can think of, that describe you, that are descriptive of who you are and what kind of impression you leave on your clients, right? And then once you have 8 or 10 of those words, narrow it down. See if you can condense them down to about 3, right? So when you leave the room, what would people say about you? How would someone describe your business to someone else when you're not around? Really try to think about that. And that way you become more aware of what your own brand is. Because a lot of us, we don't even know how we come across to others. Really, I was unaware for a lot of my life that I'm awkward and I make people feel uncomfortable, especially how honest I am. My mom, she even pointed it out to me. She was like, you say you're honest, but really it hurts people's feelings sometimes how honest you are. And she was like, and also it makes people feel uncomfortable, And I have to be more aware of that. Sometimes I open up and talk about things that I do and how I feel, and I'm just very open and honest and raw. And I know that makes, now I'm more aware that makes people feel very uncomfortable. So I have to be very careful, because the 3 words that describe my brand, my June the Groomer business: helpful, warm, and caring. So on my personal page, I give myself the freedom to do what I want and to say what I want. But on my business page and on my business platforms, I always look through that lens. Is this warm? I hold up this post that I'm about to make, and then I pull up my lens to look through. Warm, my brand image, warm, caring, and helpful. And I have to look through that and say, does this fit? Does this fit my brand? No, it does. It's not very helpful. It's not warm or caring. Well, then I put that post away and I don't post it. So you want everything that you post on social media, any advertising, any kind of promotional material or anything like that, you want it to reflect your brand. But in order to reflect your brand, you have to be aware of what your brand is. And your brand is your business personality, right? How your business comes across, and also the promise you're making. Like for Stella and Chewy's, for example, it says only the good stuff. That's their promise. So they have to keep their promise. When they make their food, they have to use only the good stuff, right? Because otherwise, then we're gonna feel like they lied, and they're gonna break the trust of the people that are loyal to their brand. Harley Davidson, even. What if Harley Davidson all of a sudden made a crotch rocket, and they try to start selling bikes to the people, and they try to compete directly with Yamaha and Suzuki and those fast bikes, and they started making those? They would lose the trust of people who have Harley Davidson tattoos and that live that lifestyle, who believe in that brand. Now they're gonna feel betrayed. They're gonna feel like Harley Davidson sold out, right? And so you have to be willing and able to deliver on the promise that your brand is making, right? Another thing is, once you're clear on who you are and what kind of business you are, Now you make that clear in your marketing. And your marketing is telling the story of why your business exists. That's marketing. When you ask people, when you make a call to action, like our page, share, don't forget to smash that like button, please subscribe. These are all call to actions. That's advertising. Or when you say, make sure you schedule your dog's, grooms, we're booking up fast, you make sure you get your appointment in, that's still advertising. Anything that's call to action is advertising. And you want to do a lot less of that and a lot more of telling your story so that people know why your business exists, why you care so much. Because, like Simon Sinek says in the Golden Circle, people buy what people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do has to reflect what you believe. And when people know what you believe and they believe what you believe, now you don't even have to worry about advertising. They're going to advertise for you. They're going to take their friends by the hand and say, you got to come, you got to try them. Exactly how Martin Luther King Jr. got thousands of people. I think they said over 30,000 people there on the lawn in Washington, D.C. to listen to his I Have a Dream speech. No social media, no internet, no form of traditional advertising or anything. People just showed up because they believed so strongly in what he believed. And he didn't make the I Have a Plan speech. He made the I Have a Dream speech. He let people know what his dream was, what he believed. And people who believed that, they made the call to action to their friends and family members, So that's, you want to just be clear on who you are. A good way to do that is to write descriptive words, adjectives that would describe your business, and then narrow it down to 2 or 3. And then now you have a lens to look through. Every post you make, every marketing material, anything that you're about to send out to your clients, emails even, you want to make sure it fits those 3 words, whatever 3 words you pick for yourself. And then you have to be willing to deliver on that promise in your work, in everything you do, so that it's not an act, so that people don't think it's just a gimmick, a shtick. The secret is there is no secret. It has to be real. It has to be genuine. It has to be really who you are. And then as long as you're honest about who you are, then it comes out naturally, and then people who feel that, it resonates with them, and it makes a connection with them, a real heart level connection, because they feel taken care of, they feel understood, then that causes them to bring others on board with them. They say, you gotta try this, you gotta try this groomer. They're doing something so different, or the way that they do it, I feel so cared for. I feel like my dog is so well loved and cared for. My dog comes back happy and healthy and smelling so nice and looking so good. These are the things, you want to be the purple cow, like Seth Godin says. Do something remarkable. And remarkable just means doing something that was worth making a remark about. Let's see. Okay, so Tara says, keep the stream. It was great info for me. Thank you so much, Tara. Lee Raleigh says, you did great. Wasn't awful. Echo was awful. Patty says, yes, it was a great stream. So was the last one. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the thing is, it's because even if I messed up and it wasn't a great stream, I'm pretty sure you guys would still be that encouraging. Why? Because again, I've done a good job branding myself, right? You guys know why I care, because I failed and I've gone in debt and it really sucked, and I care about people a lot. Ever since I was a kid, since I was 3 years old, my life goal was to become a pastor, to help people, to be the guy that when I show up and I leave, things are just a little better because I was there. I wanted to be that guy, and that was always a deep-rooted passion of mine, a deep-rooted purpose for my life, And then when I lost that purpose, I lost my way, and I did things that I was very ashamed about. I tell my story, and
And people saw me fail my business and get back up and try again. And then they told me fail out west, and I came back and I got fired. And I kept trying. I kept trying. I didn't give up. And now that people see that it's genuine, I almost had to go through all that. Even my clients, why do you think they trust me so much? It's because I didn't just say these things. I actually went through it. For the past 9 years, they saw it, they witnessed it. And I used to tell people I'm the most unluckiest person in the world. I was like, I tried so hard. I poured my heart into it. I felt like my heart just got shattered. My dreams just got shattered, and I was like, and I thought that if you just really did it, I thought that if you really give 110% and you went the extra mile for people and you really cared, I thought things were supposed to work out. How come things didn't work out for me? They worked out horribly. I'm in debt. I can barely feed my family. I got my car repossessed twice. Like, why my credit is still, like it went through the ringer. And it's like, I don't want anybody else to go through that. And if I see someone else going through that and I know that I can share some ideas and experiences that can help, or at least give them some encouragement so they feel like they don't feel so alone in this, I feel like at least that would help as well. And so it's coming from a genuine place, and you guys know this, and you can feel it from me. And I think that's why, even if I failed this live stream, even if I messed up, even if it wasn't that great, or even if it was horrible, I think because you trust me, because I continue to show up and I continue to try to give my best, um, I've earned the right to mess up from time to time. And Lee, Tara, Patty, Bargill, all you guys, I feel like I feel so, oh my goodness, I don't want to cry. I feel so grateful that I've earned the right now to come and mess up from time to time, and you guys still give me the benefit of the doubt. You still allow me to show up again next time and try to hopefully make it better, even if I mess up. And I really appreciate that. That's something you can't buy with money. There's no amount of money that can buy that. That kind of trust, that kind of understanding from real people like Lee. I mean, and Patty. Oh my goodness, Patty. I really enjoyed that conversation that we had, the other night, and I just feel so blessed. I feel so grateful that this is what I get to do now. And even if I mess up, even if I make a fool out of myself and fall flat on my face, you guys just laugh about it with me, and you give me the benefit of the doubt, and you let me come and try again. Like, it's just, it is a blessing, and I feel rich. I feel rich beyond compare. Seriously, I feel so rich because this is what I get to do. You know, I'm already rich because I have things that money can't buy. I'm just short on cash from time to time. um, let's see here. Tara says, have a great weekend, June. Gonna hit the hay. Good night, Tara. Thank you so much. Love your intro, outro on branding today. Thank you so much, Tara. Bargirl says, I'm gonna go do something remarkable by storming Area 51. Nice. Lee says, thanks for letting me hang out with you all. Even though I'm not a groomer business owner, I still learn so much just about life and being humane. I so appreciate Lee. I appreciate you seriously. I really appreciate you so much. And human, yes. And the thing is, Lee, you add to the conversation. You add so much value to the conversation, and that's priceless to me. I couldn't pay someone enough to come and do what you do, and actually engage in a meaningful way and add value to the conversation. Lee, you're remarkable to me. Seriously, you are a remarkable person in my eyes. David says, we can tell your genuine intention. You always provide the most for the community and never ask for anything back. We all appreciate you. David, I have to disagree. I am asking for something back. I'm asking for your time and attention. I put it on my Facebook page. Hey guys, I'm going to do this stream tonight. I hope you're there. I'm asking for something. I'm asking for your time and attention, which is actually the greatest gift that you could ever give to somebody. is your time, the gift of your time and attention. So I'm actually asking for something even more valuable than money. So it's very selfish of me. I'm a selfish person. I have to admit, it's all selfish motives, seriously. And, to get something that money can't even buy, which is your time and attention, I mean, wow, So I have to disagree with you a little bit. I do try to give my best and I try to add value and I care a lot about this community that we have now. But yeah, I'm not doing it for nothing. I'm not doing it for, I'm not, you know, I don't think I'm not asking for anything in return. I am. I'm asking for your engagement. I'm asking for you to be involved in the conversation and for your time and attention. I'm asking a lot actually, and I appreciate it. That's why I feel so grateful. I don't even have the right vocabulary to express how extremely intensely genuinely grateful I am for this. I feel alive. You know. Um, Tara says you can screw up in front of us anytime, unconditional. Thank you, Tara. And that's the thing is like I didn't just get that right. I earned that over the years of failing over and over again. And showing that hey, I'm still gonna try to show up and I'm still gonna try to offer something of value so that my suffering wouldn't have been in vain. I want to share my experiences so that I can actually try to make it worth something that I went through that, so that others can maybe gain something of value out of it and maybe avoid some of the mistakes that I made and maybe avoid some of the failure and the pain and suffering that I went through. If I could help just one person, even if they're going through it and it's already too late, they're already in it, the shit has already hit the fan, at least they won't feel so alone and so miserable because they'll look over here at me and say, well, he's covered in shit too, and look at him. He seemed to have come out all right. It's like, yeah, look at me. I'm still covered in it. I'm still working through a lot of the debt and a lot of the stuff that happened, trying to fix my credit. So yeah, it's hard. It really is. But at least we're going through it together, right? Um, Lee, thank you so much, Lee. And Patty says, yes, you are so helpful, and we are all human and make mistakes. LOL. We appreciate how real you are. I think I'm real, right? I mean, we could be living in a simulation, right? Have you heard that theory that we're actually living in a simulation? I hope I'm real. I hope I'm not in the Matrix. Lee says, you're going to make me cry, but thank you for those kind words. Lee, don't make me cry. Don't do it. Lee, I'm serious. You better control yourself. I'm going to control myself. And that's why I joke around so much, because that's the only way I can cope without actually getting emotional and breaking down crying. So, I mean, yeah, that's why I make these stupid jokes. Like, of course you would feel that way. Who wouldn't about me, David says, no, I can always almost promise you I'm more grateful. Thank you, June. You have affected my life in a very positive way. David, oh my God, I just told Lee, don't do it, David. Don't make me cry. Seriously. Holy crap. I'm already getting like tears in my eyes. Okay, stop it. But of course. Why wouldn't you feel that way, David? I mean, you're getting to spend some time with June the Groomer. Have you not heard? What? Who June the Groomer is? That was me leaning over to the microphone here. Anyways. Yeah. I'm sorry for the joke. It's inappropriate, but it's just the way I cope. Thank you so much, though, David. You make me feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose here on Earth. Which is try to be helpful to others. I really appreciate that. But yeah, it's after 1 o'clock in the morning. I really appreciate everybody, all of you guys, David, Lee, Patty, David T. Everyone, Bargill, it's Kevin, right? Yeah. But he's actually probably gone to sleep already. But Tara, who am I missing? Kyle, Martin, Showbob, all of you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate your time, and I honor the light in you that is also in me. Namaste.